welcome to Encounter Roleplay. You're back on the block. It's Friday, it's Friday, it's Judge Dredd in the wilds of 2000 AD, and it is Games Master Virginia. Hello, friend, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing okay. I finished having my laughing fit over everything in chat over the last couple of minutes about Tetley, but I'm good. I'm excited about this. I don't know if everyone else is. They all seem to be running on fear. Oh my goodness, we have Zippy.
By the internet gods! Why don't we hop on around and say hello to Zippy? How are you doing, friend? Welcome.
It's good. If somebody could stop knocking out the fire line, that'd be great. Yeah. Where were we? What were we talking about?
We are right at the beginning. You turned up just in time. We've just done our first little trailer, and we're just saying hi and how everyone's doing, and that this is Operations Save Tetley tonight.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're gonna save a dog. It's gonna be great.
It is going to be great. And always great, the wonderful Susanna Grace joins us today. Thank you so much, Roller 300, for that subscription. Susie, we can't hear you, friend. Oh boy. Let's dive on around to the wonderful Travis, who is pointing to his ears, pointing to his eyes, of which there are 3.
Where'd she go? We'll never know.
Who knows?
What happened? It's Susie. She could be anywhere. She's in the negative zone. Hi, producer Trav here. I'm playing Judge Reinhold, who recently was rescued from H.R. Giger's home for distraught and retired side judges. And I'm very excited to be here. He's a mess. And also, I think that we're going to save a dog. It's going to be great. Should be the name of this episode on the VOD. That's my vote. So let's get it on.
Oh, while I make a note of that, hi, Kat. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing good. I'm ready to save Tetley. Got a lot of treats saved up for him. Maybe nice big bone sitting in the refrigerator. Ready to go. We're going to save Tetley. And then we're going to take out Shay.
Fremont, played by the wonderful Shauna, wants to take out Shay. Isn't that right?
Oh, that's right. Because it's a bad assignment. First time back, and you know your friend is mind controlled, almost kills you, and now they have taken our sweet boy, and nothing bad will happen to that little cute corgi. Please.
Before we get into the madness and while we wait for Susie to sort out the little tech problem we are having, let's go and speak to Past Charlie and find out about our wonderful sponsors today. Don't forget, guys, at 20 retweets, we're going to do Wild Magic Surge. We are nearly there. We're at 17, 3 to go. Before we begin today's show, I would like to take some time to remind you about our sponsors. Fantasy Grounds, a virtual tabletop of choice. All of the beautiful maps and roles you see tonight are done using Fantasy Grounds, which you can try for free at fantasygrounds.com. You can also get all of your miniatures from Wayland Games. Go to waylandgames.co.uk and get yourself a huge range of D&D, Warhammer and 40k minis for up to 20% off regular retail price. And Tabletop Loot, who sell incredible dice. Go and check them out at tabletoploot.com. So there we have it. Please do go and check out Wayland Games, Tabletop Loot, and Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice. And please also go and check out Judge Dredd in the Wilds of 2000 AD, which is the game we are playing tonight. Susie, can I hear you?
Hello?
Hello, Judge
Hello?
Judy. Loud and clear.
Good, excellent.
I'm
Hi,
glad that
everybody.
you've been released from ISO.
Well, you know, it's a short stint, but, you know, I do have to atone for my many crimes.
Many
I'm glad to be here.
crimes.
Looking forward to it. Hashtag save my son. Save Tetley. He's my boy.
In case anyone is confused and has no idea who Tetley is, why don't we do a brief summary of the story so far, Virginia?
So, going right back, some of these judges, with the exception of Judy, were assigned to an initiative at Freedom Falls to try and bring some law to the place. They managed this, and on their travels, they did encounter a dog that kind of wandered back to the refuge, their little shelter within the megacity block. And they dubbed him Judge Tetley, and it turned out he belonged to one of the previous judges called Shay, who ended up acting as a strange antagonist but slightly useful helper towards the end of their first stay here. Now they have been brought back because some side judges have been going missing on the routine patrols around the mega block. And they believe that Shay, the strange apparent psychic that Judge Reinhold and Judge Waits very personally encountered, might be the cause. Last week we saw our judges try to save a small child who they knew had psychic abilities, get her to safety in case Shay decided to target her next. And they managed this. However, they did have some trouble. Judge Judy had slowly been swayed by Shay's influence in the back of her mind, leading to an all-out assault in the elevator. Judge Judy very nearly took out a few members of her team before, between the efforts of Reinhold, Grease, and Fremont, they managed to knock her out, seemingly knocking Shay's influence from her and eventually managing to rest up back in the refuge with the young girl and her mother, who had eventually made it there. And their plan now was to try and get to Shay and really find out the heart of what was going on. And that's where we left them, having a nice good night's sleep, uneventful, restful. Most of you wake up. Judy, you're probably still a bit achy. Any of you in that elevator fight probably are. Wait, the feeling that you had in your kind of stomach, that residual burning, has now mostly faded. There is a light discomfort, nothing more, thanks to Janna's medical aid. However, you are woken this morning not by your aches and pains, but by the sound of a young girl crying. And you're all sharing this bunk room, which is where you all went to bed, and her and her mother are tucked up in one of the spare bunks towards the back. And you wake up to the sound of sobbing. Tetley? Judge Tetley? Where is he? And, you know, it's kind of like, it's like when a kid cries, they get a few words out and then they burst back into tears. And this is what you're woken by in the morning.
I imagine that Waits is on like a top bunk. Maybe she used to be on the bottom bunk, but she gave that over to Charisma and her mother for today. And she kind of rolls over and drops down onto the floor and like stands straight upright. Like, what is wrong?
And you see Charisma is currently on her knees looking under the bed, kind of sobbing, and her mother's kind of sitting there a little bit confused and not really sure what to do here other than like, no, come on, I'm sure he's around here somewhere. It's okay. And she's just like, where is Tetley? And she's sobbing and she looks at you, the bottom lip quivering. She's like, I can't find him.
Grease reaches over and grabs his alarm clock, and he tosses it towards the direction of the child. And somebody shut that creature up. I am trying to sleep here.
Can I attempt to catch what is being yeeted across the room?
You can absolutely attempt to catch the yeeted alarm clock, Charlie.
What?
That's agility
Yeeted?
plus...
To yeet, to throw, to heft.
To yote.
It was
In young
yoke.
person speech.
means throw,
Him?
Chad.
Sorry, Virginia, that was agility plus...
Agility plus if you've got anything else that you think would apply.
Trouble sense?
Sure.
That applies to initiative, but... Oh, how about unflappable? I'm not easily distracted or surprised. It mechanically it just means a faint exploit. It doesn't work on me, but can I get a d6 for that?
You can have
For
a
this?
d6 for that.
Thanks.
Yeah, you don't duck out of the way. You see it coming, and most
I
people's reaction
rolled-
would be to move, but
2 6s and a 3, which is 15.
15. Yeah, you manage it. You literally just, it's still mid-conversation, put your arm out, grab the alarm clock. It's still quite early by all accounts, so you can probably see why Grease is a little bit annoyed, but...
Yeah, she kind of like catches it midair and then slowly retracts it, and then kind of looks around for Tetley, like, where is Tetley?
You don't see him here, and Charisma is just looking up at you. She's like, I searched under all the beds, and he's not in here. But he was
Perhaps-
here last night.
He has gone on walkies patrol.
Have you tried looking for him in traffic? Just go outside and go into the street, and you know what? I bet he's in the first car you see, so just run right for it.
Talon's going to go find Tetley's spare gear and bring it to Karis to see if maybe she can get something off of his gear.
Okay, so you go over and you get his gear. It's been put on beside the bed where Karis has been sleeping, because you know that last night Tetley curled up with her. And you come over to it, and she takes her hands out. And she holds on to it. She closes her eyes and does her concentrating face as she kind of screws it up. I just see you taking this off him.
Perhaps Judge Tetley is with Judge Reinhold, who also appears to be absent.
Judge Reinhold is in the bathroom. Judge, just real quick without derailing the game. So Judge Reinhold was up till about 3 a.m. watching infomercials in the front room of the refuge. He can't sleep. One of the things to note, too, is that he had not shaved or trimmed his fingernails in over a year, which is something I should have pointed out 2 shows ago. So he had this long Methuselah-like beard. At about 4 a.m, he decides to go to the bathroom, and using his telekinesis, floats about 1.5 inches off the ground, and with his arms outstretched and all 3 of his eyes closed, the razor shaves his entire body. His entire body, ladies and gentlemen. Think about it. So he emerges from the bathroom in his uniform for the first time in a year, and a steely hard grit in his eye. I heard sobbing.
Apparently, our Judge Tetley has gone missing.
Yes. I've sent a telepathic message to Tetley that he is a good boy, and that we are coming after him. Is everyone rested?
Yes. Good to have you back, Judge
No.
Reinhold.
Excellent. It's good to be back. You all understand keenly at this point what we're up against. The fact that Judge Judy tried to kick the shit out of us in an elevator and almost succeeded, is extremely upsetting that we can be worked on from within. It's time to tighten ranks. Save Tetley.
Is it really, truly, surprising? We aren't the most cohesive, in sync group.
From the bed
once-
where Judy is cuffed, she goes, yeah, no shit.
For once, we're in agreement, Judge Grease.
Oh, yes.
Talon's
And
gonna go
as
check
you're
on-
talking, Reinhold, Karis is making her way over to you, and she's kind of tugging on your, pant leg. She's like, but he's missing! I looked everywhere. I even looked out in the other room, and he's not there. I
Missing
tried
but
putting
not
food
lost,
out.
young lady.
You'll find
We
him?
won't. We absolutely will find him, whatever the cost.
You promise?
Grace, is there something you'd like to chime in here while the young child begs for her animal back?
Yeah. Maybe he's being eaten by ravenous mutants.
Okay.
In the
Young lady,
Undercity.
are you
No!
hungry? Okay.
She just floor tears. She's hugging the bottom of your leg now, Reinhold, and she's just like, no, he's not being eaten. Tell me he's not being eaten.
If he was being eaten, I would have received a psychic message of his pain and suffering, which has not happened. Talon, where are we at on breakfast? Eggs? Potatoes?
Breakfast is just about up, and I toss Grease a Snickers bar.
Black coffee for me, please.
Already done.
Okay, and Karis's mother comes to kind of collect her, get her properly dressed and ready for the day, and consoles her a little bit. You all have breakfast. Karis is upset. She's quiet. She occasionally asks one of you if you'll promise that you'll find Tetley, because judges keep their word. They have to. That's what Judge Waits told her. And eventually she kind of tires herself out with what you imagine is, worry and upset, and she's still a little bit confused as to why she can't go home, and her mother takes her back off to bed, leaving you here so far without any clue as to how Tetley even got out. You lock the doors up at night.
That Judge Waits will actually have given Charisma one of her old workbooks. It's a hefty tome all about the law. And she will have established an office for Charisma to work in. And by office, I mean a sheet that has been draped down from one of the bunks in a little blanket fort-esque area. And she's taken a permanent marker and done the sigil for the Hall of Justice, the eagle, on the top of it.
And she happily, after she's had a bit of a nap and calmed down, is sitting away reading. Her mum even plays along a little bit when she has to go in and give Karis something or ask her something, pretending to knock, calling her judge. And that's kind of where you leave them in there. But right now, there are other questions. Where is Judge Tetley? How did he get out after the doors had all been locked? And what are you still going to do about Shay? Speaking of questions, I think we have a poll, don't we, Charlie?
We do. I will go and set that going right now. The question of the day: what causes trouble for our judges this week? And our options are the arcade, ISO 59, which is that top floor that we unlocked last season, Serena, our good friend, who's also not a good friend, or Tetley's dog enemies. Votes
because he did have some, thanks to a wild magic surge last season. So, judges, what's your plan of action?
Talon's reviewing security footage film. All the cameras. She's gone to check the elevator because it was locked off and locked open on 25, so nobody could have used it overnight. And yeah, pulling up everybody camera footage from this floor and the whole building that she can get access to.
Okay,
I'll
so you
stand
pull
over
up.
your shoulder drinking coffee.
You pull up the camera footage and, you go back to the recordings from yesterday. You can see the bit where Judy was carried in by all of you after the elevator fight. You scrub through that and you can see, you can't quite see into the bedroom. There's no cameras in the bunk room. But you can see, you coming in and out, having dinner, preparing stuff. You see a few hours of Reinhold watching television. And at the point where Reinhold goes into the bathroom, you see the door to the bunk room open off the side of the camera, seemingly from the inside, but it's hard to really tell. And you see a small, furry-looking figure kind of pad out, and he kind of stops. You see the ears prick up in the direction towards the bathroom, and then his head go back, kind of pads along, sniffing along the floor, and he gets kind of midway into the room when he starts sniffing at the floor, like there's something there. He looks up, sniffs back to the floor, pads over to the door. You can see he kind of paws at it, pushing his nose into the corner the way dogs do when there's something behind there. paws at it some more, takes a few steps back, and the door opens just a crack. You see Judge Tetley put his head round the door, take a few steps back, and then pad forward, and the door closes behind him.
That was
Talon,
her, right?
Judge.
She does that. She makes you think you see things, make you smell things, make you hear things, right? She did it to the dog. It's like that show, that old show, Lassie, you know, little Timmy stuck down the well. She's done that to Tetley.
Or what she did to you, Judy.
What she did to me. And she wants the psychics, right? So what better way to get the little girl with the dog than take the dog away and make the little girl chase her?
Shay will stop at nothing. She is a true fiend and must be stopped. This is the
She's a
most
mind
passionate you've
parasite.
ever seen Waits.
Wait, you're peppy today.
Shay is the
Got a little
mind
fire in her
parasite.
blood.
And those of us with no psychic defenses, and Judge Tetley, as far as I know, is one of those, are extremely vulnerable. And can I walk over and to the door and look? Tetley was looking up at something, like up in the ceiling.
Yeah, so before he actually got to the door, he was sniffing around at something on the floor, and then he kind of looked up as if there was... You know, like when dogs hear something, or they just catch something and they kind of flick around a little bit. And as you go over, there is an odd scent in the room. And you don't know where it's coming from, but it's just this patch, it kind of lingers. It smells like food, but not like Talon's cooking. And then actually you can almost feel this scent leading you towards the door. It's very, very light. But you wonder if this is perhaps what Tetley was catching.
Who's closest to me? Talon? Where were the video monitors in
The video
relation to
monitors,
the front door?
the front door. So the video monitors are, if you've got the front door here, the video monitors are on a wall over here.
In the front. Okay.
Yeah.
You guys smell that?
No.
Look,
Listen.
it wasn't
You
me
smell
this
something?
time.
No, you're smelling
No.
bananas.
Yeah.
Do I smell it? Can I? Is it? Once he points it out,
Oh.
can I notice?
Talon, come here. Something
don't smell
something different.
anything,
Stand right
Talon.
here. Put your feet right here and smell.
It smells normal. You can smell your cooking, a slight hint of the chemically acidic tinge from the back burner, and breakfast this morning.
I
You don't smell that?
anything. No.
See, I can't even trust my nose. I can't trust my eyes. I can't trust my ears. I can't even trust
Well,
my
you
nose.
can trust them. You're just getting more information than I am. That's all.
No, he shouldn't
Unless you
trust
get my
them.
head.
Because she controls all of our senses if she can get in here. Right?
Were we able to get the side blockers? I mean,
Um,
after what
they haven't
happened-
They haven't arrived yet. It's still, bearing in mind, you are up very, very early because Karis has woken you up. It's about 6 a.m. in the morning. You expect they will arrive at some point today,
Talon's
but
going
nothing
back
has
and
arrived yet.
Checking the
Okay.
security feeds for any hallway cameras outside of on this floor.
Okay. You
I like
check those
shoot-
cameras. You check the cameras and you can see again as you scrub back, Judy being brought in, the door being closed, and when you get outside, you can see that the door, where the point where the door opens on the inside footage, as you compare it, you see on the outside there is a woman. She's wearing a loose-fitting kind of blank tank top, you guess, from the view that you're getting on the camera. And that's covered over kind of the shoulders. It's not zipped up, but she's got almost like a hoodie. And you see she walks up to the door She does something, you can't see what her hands are doing, over the lock, and just cracks it open ever so slightly. And then you see Tetley pad out, and she pulls the door shut again. Again, she kind of hunches into the door. She's doing something around the lock area. And then she turns around and walks off with Tetley in tow.
Now, did I see Shay? Did I actually see her? I don't remember. Do I know what she looks like?
Yes, Shay has appeared to you. She is a very tall, pale-skinned woman. And she has got, I have to get it right now. I think it's long brown hair with blonde tips at the end.
Yes, I'm remembering this. Okay. Is that Shay?
You don't think so. You can't see that the hood isn't pulled up on this woman, but even just from the hair is the wrong length. It's too. It's
anybody we know.
Talon, you would recognize this person, and Judy, you would as well, actually, if you're watching this, because you had a run-in with this woman just after your first strange experience. Talon, you know this woman as Serena.
I know who that is. And I pull up her file and explain about Serena. The last time I saw her, I had taken her to ISO for a day. And then she never really came back, but there were rumors of her coming back. I hadn't seen her again. And then I'm going to go examine the lock outside to see if I can figure out, was the lock picked? Was it how it was manipulated? Because somebody that can manipulate the lock to the refuge, that's a big problem.
Go ahead, make me a logic test. Plus, if you have lock picking or anything to do with criminal activity that would be to do with breaking in.
Law or perception would be the only other ones I would have.
Perception will work here.
Okay. Let's find another D6.
While Kat makes that roll, we have hit 20 retweets, which means Wild Magic Surge, and the result of the poll is that the arcade will be giving us trouble this session.
Ooh.
19.
19. You have a look at the lock, you check it over. Normally when locks are picked, it leaves some kind of, you can see the tool markings, or there's some minor damage to the lock or the tumblers. It doesn't seem to be the case here. The refuge has got an electronic lock that was kind of semi-busted, I think, by grease when you first arrived, and then kind of repaired, but you do also have a kind of standard mechanism lock as well, and both appear to be intact. There are no signs of lock picking here. You would assume that anyone who was entering has either found a way to lockpick that doesn't leave an obvious trace that you can find, or they have a key.
Fremont, could you come over here for a second?
Yes.
Come put your feet right here and smell.
Do I smell anything?
You do. There is it smells like food, like cooking.
Talon can't smell it.
Kind of faint. And it doesn't smell like Talon's cooking. It hasn't got that slight, almost acidy scent on the back from where she cooks her explosives on the back burner. This is different. It's got a different scent to it. It's got more spice.
I think I know where you're going, Reinhold. This was specifically meant to lure our missing judge away from us. And the fact that no one else can smell it. Psychic residue of... Yeah.
I think even just in the short term, you and I take a walk, take a turn around the block really quick. As the two with the highest psychic defense, perhaps the two of us should investigate even just for a few minutes. See if we can find it.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Why?
whoa, 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 whoa! The two psychics going off on their own? I don't think so.
This seems unadvisable and, to be frank, exactly what Shay would want.
Wait, your
Let's-
name's Frank?
No, Grease.
Oh, okay.
It's like
Are you
she's
suggest-
laying out little cookies for you, and you're just going and you're just snapping them right up. How the hell have you made it through judge school? Jesus, that's like day one shit. That's a booby trap if I ever saw one. You're just walking right into that little ambush. Also, side note, my wrists are getting real sore, so if somebody could come and like either release these or something, I'm just
All right.
I'm
Oh,
being
yeah.
respectful.
No, it wasn't
Fair.
your fault, of course. You just had to make sure that the control was out. No harm. And I'll unlock it.
Perhaps
You're not wrong.
Talon and Grease might accompany either Fremont or Reinhold in the search for Judge Tetley.
Yes. Maybe one of us should go and the other can monitor psychically. Provide some backup without necessarily leaving.
I mean, I guess if I have to go look for the dog. There's only room for one animal companion on this team, but okay. Let's go for the one that can't talk.
Judge Grease, consider this part of the hunt for Judge Shay.
Is that a little bit of jealousy in your voice, Grease? Are you jealous of Judge Tetley?
Look. No. And maybe.
Is it the fact that maybe Judge Tetley outranks you, Judge Grease?
Oh, I'm going to give that dog the hugest amount of chocolate when I freaking find it.
Okay, and that's threatening an officer. But Waits is right. You find the dog, you find Shay.
10 years in ISO. Adds to the list.
We do need somebody to compare Serena and Shay's profiles and images. We know that Shay had her face redone. We've been getting an image of hair, but that image could be a deliberate way to throw us off.
We were unable to obtain the records from the face change shop up in the arcade, but perhaps there is still something to be found. Judge Judy also, I believe, met Shay in passing once.
I did, and whilst I was out, she was there. I've seen her. I know what she looks like.
We have also got Serena's footage of Serena from her day in the ISO cubes. We should be able to compare at least general build, movement. It's very hard to change the way you walk. It's very hard to change the way you move, your little muscle memory gestures.
I suggest that perhaps myself, Judy, and Reinhold perform this analysis. There may be something as well to show Karis, which might assist in our investigation.
So you want to run some of the footage, compare the scans, and see what you can find?
Yeah, I think so. And Waits is suggesting kind of a 3-and-3 team setup.
Mhm.
Okay.
Um,
So what are the other three of you doing then while this is going on? Because this is going to take a little bit, because you're going to be pulling up, requesting video files from the ISO cubes. It's a good hour or so of work to kind of get everything together, compile it, get it to cross-link things.
Should we find out and see if someone knows where Shay is? Happens to know where her location is.
Shay disappeared.
Doesn't mean that people don't know where she is. They might not tell us, but we have ways.
Shake enough trees, a monkey's bound to fall out.
Judge
I
Tom's
like
gonna
the
go start bottling up some explosives and put on her slingshot.
Okay, and where are you heading? Those who are going to go out and try and get some more information.
Where was Shay operating before all this? Before we brought her in?
So, Shay, when she was first on this block, was here as a judge, doing a similar thing to what you were all doing. They were some judges that were stationed here about several years before this initiative happened. And both of them were attacked while in the refuge and presumed to be dead. Their armor and their weapons have been sold through the arcade, through the various gangs that dealt in Judge Tech, which were the Vipers. And then you had the anti-militia, who were very anti-judge. That you figured out last time perhaps were made up of some of the original city defense that were here before that kind of was disbanded and fell apart. And Shay was presumed to be dead along with Caro until Grease met Caro when he went up to see the anti-militia. But the badges were displayed on the wall behind the guy who ran it. And it wasn't until I think Reinhold had the run-in with Shay that it was clear that she had also survived. Although I think the only person here really knows, kind of alluding to how some of that went down after her supposed death, is Judy, from her meeting with her last week.
All right, what do you think? What do you all think?
I'm comfortable to stay here if you're going to take point and go investigate the smell. There's some place I want to go, but I don't have to leave this room to go there.
We should investigate the smell. And also, Serena operated off of the arcade. She did work up there taking bets. So we may want to go back up there. Like I said, rumor is that Serena's returned, but I haven't seen her. It's been mostly just rumors. We might want to track down Serena's location, especially after what we just saw from last night.
I got some contacts still around here that I can, ask.
See what we can find. See what you can find about her.
Okay,
I'm going
so
to give
those
a good old call to Horatio.
You can call up
I can do
Horatio.
You're not going to contact that whole Ape Alliance?
Well, he's
I
the
did
one
get
in
one.
charge of it right now.
King of the Pinkies.
King of the Pinkies. Yes.
So you head out. Where are you heading to? The arcade, or are you doing a walk around the block itself first?
Oh.
And Grease, you can absolutely call Horatio up. What is it that you need from him?
If he has any knowledge of any psychic disturbances, like if anything seemed weird, like psychic.
Okay, he answers the call and he's, yes, I let me go through the report records from the Alliance, and you can hear him flicking through some paperwork, and he comes back. He's like, yes, there were some strange happenings reported in the arcade and in ISO 59. People claiming they were seeing things and hearing things. We mostly put it down to perhaps some bad shipments of whatever illicit substances are going on here.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, how about you take some of the boys and go to ISO 59, and I'm going to take some of my guys and we'll go to the arcade.
Sounds good, sir. Yes. Yes. I will get them together.
Awesome. To the arcade, he says to the rest of the group.
Okay, you start making your way up to the arcade, and when you reach the level, you are greeted by the same familiar lights that have been covered over or painted over to be purple. The same strange glow. It's still just as busy here as it was before. You can hear off in the distance that same thumping bass music from the series of areas that have been knocked through into that kind of nightclub. It's cleaned up its act a little bit, though. Some of the worst offenders for illicit activities are no longer here, thanks to regular judge patrols. But for the most part, the arcade has stayed. It still has a little bit of an underbelly where things are traded. People still smoke cigarettes, mostly openly up here as well. There are the auto fighting drones that are still kind of open. You notice some of the advertisements may have changed recently. The what once was the face clinic is now an empty kind of patch. It looks like nobody has taken back over it since the events of last year. Serena's betting shop is still here, currently being managed, it seems, by somebody else. But the usual food stalls and vendors are up here, as always. Where are you heading?
Just a reminder, at some point, we've got to try the Judge Judy at the stall over there. It is great. They call it a pew-pew.
Oh, is there a special drink?
Mm-hmm. Oh, you've got one too. Yes.
Yeah? What is it?
Banana daiquiri.
Banana daiquiri?
It's sweet, like you.
Oh, yeah. Couldn't have made something hard like, banana on ice. Banana whiskey on ice. But no, it had to be banana daiquiri. All right, whatever.
No, that's the Brando.
What? You mean my persona gets a better drink than me?
Well, I mean, it's all a matter of taste.
Okay.
Grease, I need to ask,
right.
Are you in your judge's uniform?
I feel like if he's going around using Brando's contacts, he's in his duster button-up shirt with like a nice bright red tie.
So as you head up and you're walking around, you're doing the rounds, people are noticing you. Fremont and Talon, in your uniforms, you are offered some food. Talon, this is a regular occurrence for you. You're a regular face up here. Many vendors want to show you the newest thing they've got, free food for the judges. Many of them are still very, very grateful for what the initiative did here. But Grease, you notice as you come up on the scene, there are a few people who eye you cautiously. You think there are some whispers. Is Brando back? You hear a couple of people mention the name. A few other people go off. You know it doesn't take long for you to be recognized here after the events of last year.
Okay. All right. Getting back in the groove. Okay. All right. And he pulls out a gun and he fires it up in the air. Brando style.
Everyone stops. A couple of people scream. A few people you see just run and leave.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to play a game. It's called Snitch on a Psychic. If you know a psychic around here, you're going to give me their name and their house number. And if you know any other information, please give it to me. We're looking for a very particular psychic, and if it happens to be one of your friends, I'm sorry, but they're not going to make out alive.
You see a few people are just kind of wide-eyed. They look over to you, Talon and Fremont, as judges on the scene, and don't know what to make of this. And there's just quiet, and then there's whispering. And then you see somebody gets pushed forward by their mates, who's like, he knows something!
Volunteer. Good.
Wonderful.
I don't know anything. Shut up, what are you talking about? This person says to the friend that's pushed them out. I'm sorry, I don't know anything. They're just being stupid.
Just humor us. Tell us.
Well, there's always talk of one of the older women saying that she can, she's got psychic powers. She can, tell your future or whatever. I think it's just a cash grab gimmick. I don't think it's anything.
Oh, well, how about you let us be the judge of that? And you give us her name.
Ella. Her name's Ella. She operates out of one of the houses, one of the apartments downstairs. I can't even remember what number now. You should be able to find it. There's some posters up on the wall on whichever level it is. Maybe 23, 22, one of those. I think it's just an old lady who wants to make some extra cash. I've got a couple of friends that might have gone and seen her, but it's not difficult if you know what's going on in the block to figure it out. I mean, our lives are pretty simple up here. She kind of timidly step back in with friends and are kind of doing like the elbow, like, why would you do that?
With Talon's familiarity on the block, does she know Ella or of Ella?
You've probably had people talk about her. She's an older woman. She sometimes helps out with some of the schooling of some of the block's kids every now and then. There has been the occasional talk of kind of like fortune telling and tarot card reading and stuff like that, but you've always very much in the context that you've heard it, it's people that go for one of two reasons. They go for a laugh, or they go because they're in a position that they don't really know what else to do. Some people just go out of sheer interest. It's not, from what you've heard, an expensive thing. It costs maybe 5 to 10 credits. But it popped up kind of after the initiative, maybe 6 or 7 months ago. And most people assume it's just kind of a gimmicky thing that she started up. It's not unusual for people in the block to kind of have their own small business doing one thing or another, or offering some kind of service. But you've seen it around. It's not been like a big thing though.
She may be late inside. Might be worth checking out another source that could help us.
Oh, that's definitely a good lead. Plus, undocumented psychic is something that we should have on record. Thank you very much.
And I look at the kid and I say, this pans out. Come find me another time. I'll give you half a pack.
Oh, okay. Thanks. And they look visibly kind of uncomfortable. Everyone's still quiet. Everyone's still watching who they know to be Brando, who's still brandishing this gun. And you start to see a couple of people whispering even more now. There's some people who were down corridors and stuff who are whispering. This feeling in the arcade. You had it last time. The feeling that something is building. People are
what
whispering
feeling
about something
am I getting from these people that are whispering? I'm just using empathy, which is...
Yeah, so it's not so much fear. It's almost that delay before something happens. Like when you suspect something's going to happen. And it's that moment that you're waiting to see if it does. And they're watching you and Talon in your uniforms very closely. They are less worried about Brando with the gun than they are about watching you.
Oh, I'm just gonna like lock eyes with them and just point at them like, you, come here.
And the young teenager that you point out, he comes forward kind of very slowly. Yes, Judge?
Oh, I could feel something off you and your friends. Why don't you share with me?
Would
What
you
was that
spe-
whispering?
Just a bit confused as all, Judge. And he kind of looks
Oh.
between you and Talon and then over to Brando. Assumably still with your gun out, Grease.
Yep.
Confusion wasn't what I was feeling off you. Come on.
Well, we was wondering what you're gonna do about him. I mean, he's firing shots off and all that, and word around here is that he's a big time criminal.
Well, we have a certain deal with him. Don't bother him. He won't bother us. Our problem right now is this psychic. Do you know anything?
Not what I don't know anything about no psychic, but I know that the other judges that were here last night, they told us to watch out for Brando.
Other judges? What other judges?
I don't know. I don't remember their names. They came up to the arcade and were shouting about it. 3 of them.
You
look
can't
just
remember
like
their
all
names.
of you. No,
Like-
they look like you. The uniform and the helmets. Couldn't see their faces.
But you saw their badges and just cannot remember.
I wasn't standing right next to them, Judge. It's just, they came up and they started shouting, and we thought that maybe someone had done something, and we remember last year and all the gunshots that went off and the explosions. They were shouting about how there were fugitives on the block, started naming people, mentioned Brando, got all of the talk about him going.
I'll go on the comms and I'll look at Talon and just say, were any of you aware that there are other judges here?
No. Only the ones that have gone missing. We don't know where
Okay.
they are. Find out what names they were yelling as fugitives. Who did they mention specifically besides Brando?
Do you remember?
I don't know. I just remember Brando because I remember hearing about him last year when everything was going off and that he was selling judge tech, and then he was. Well, some of my mates ended up with some of the guns he was handing out up here. There's the fancy law bringer
Yes.
ones. I don't have one. Like, if I did, I definitely would have handed it in, but.
All right, can you do something for me? You're nervous. Just breathe, like, in and out.
Okay. And he proceeds to not do that at all. You
I
can
lock
see-
eyes with him. Just do that one thing. And I'll kind of like coach him through it. And then I'm going to use mind read on him.
Okay.
I want
what
those
you-
names.
You want the names?
I want the names and what the information that they can't remember, but maybe in their memory I can figure out. So that's cost me 10 points. So it's a psi versus mental defense.
Yep,
This
go ahead.
person. Okay, that is 46, 66. All right. I have 10, 13, 19.
19. Okay. You do this as this kid's trying to focus and breathe, and you see almost, it's like flashes of the memory, and it's harder because he's panicking, and at the time that this happened, he was panicking, and you can see the faces of his friends as he turns to them, and you look up and these 3 judges are walking through the arcade. They're not using like loud amplification on the voice. It's just loud enough to fill this area. And they're basically making a statement to be aware of the following people. They give some rough descriptions of several people. It's very generic. Is the first thing you note. This is not specifics. This is not pointing out somebody with a tattoo that looks like this. This is a person who is tall with this color hair. It's very generic. And then they get to describing Brando. Very detailed, very accurately. And you can see the kids, as the group of them try to get a little bit closer to follow these judges almost as they go through clearly curious to see what happened, and you get that sense from him. There's the excitement and the fear, and you only catch one of the badges, Dashford.
Ah.
The other ones are never quite turned in the right direction for the kid to see. You catch the edges of them, but it's not quite enough to build up an image. He hasn't seen enough of it for you to be able to read it from his mind.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for your cooperation. I'll turn away.
Welcome. And you turn away. And yet there's still the feeling in the air that something is happening. Something is building. You know this feeling. And while you continue to investigate there and Brando brandishes his gun, Grease, somebody comes up to you, that bartender that Talon points out, and he's got this drink in his hand. And he's like slightly nervous because you've got the gun, and he's like, "Welcome back, my friend." Talon, why don't you tell us what this drink is, as it's handed to Grease?
Is it the Brando or is it?
It is the Brando.
It is the Brando. It is. It's banana rum. It's banana infused rum. Neat.
So you can, as you're handed it, Grease, you can smell the banana on it, but also the strength of the alcohol. It is garnished with what looks to be a maraschino cherry, and it looks like it's just built as a pretty, almost pretty looking shot, but you can smell the alcohol off of it. And he's like, "Welcome back, my friend."
Thank you. But I'm on duty. Duty of anarchy. I cannot drink this. You can drink it for me. And he hands it back to the bartender.
He takes it, and the bartender kind of cheers as you downs it in one, eats the maraschino cherry, says, if you have any more of those guns for sale, I would be very, very interested in some protection for my establishment. Kind of like close up to you, and then pats you on the shoulder, gives you a smile, and kind of heads back to his little makeshift bar that he has.
All right, well, maybe I'll keep this in mind. Okay, just get a little bit of, a few guns. I mean, it's not going to hurt anyone.
For the moment, though, as you are stood here, and people are starting now to ease into the presence. There's no more shots been fired. People start resuming selling things and chatting and smoking. Especially since Talon is here as well, because Talon, you are a familiar face here. Everyone knows you both as a judge and out of the uniform, so they're a little bit more comfortable. But there's something building here. And I want to go down to the 3 judges who are currently trying to run all of that data. I'm not going to make you roll for this because you spent the time to do it. But you cross-reference the data that you have from ISO, from Serena's file that Talon has built. And you know that after she was sent to ISO, according to Talon's notes, she never returned the block. It was only months later that there were rumors that people had seen her, but she hadn't resumed taking note of her betting shop. She hadn't gone back there to continue her work, but there were withdrawals being made from the account, it seems. So somebody was receiving some money. Obviously, Judy, I don't know if you've told anyone about your encounter, but you did briefly meet Serena. She introduced herself to you in that corridor just after your strange event. But when you cross-reference things, some stuff is off. The build is right. The hair is right. The look is correct. But the way that the woman in the security footage walks is different. And it's not that the gait is different or she steps heavier. It's a lot smoother. Whereas a normal person walks and, there's movement in the shoulders and general, presence. This doesn't have that. It's very straight. It's almost what you would expect from a judge or somebody who has had training of some sort in how to carry themselves. And she doesn't seem to be reacting to anything else around. As you follow her on some of the security footage, she doesn't seem to react to some doors opening. She doesn't react to Tetley, who kind of pads up beside her, tries to keep up. She doesn't look down at him at all. And it's going up a stairwell where there are a few broken cameras up along here that she disappears. You can't track her from there on out. Everything else seems fine. It's just the way she is walking and acting seems very off compared to like her ISO cube video footage, where you know she was put in there more for protection than actually being punished for anything. But when she walks, there's a lot of shoulder movement. There's a lot of looking around. She's quite an aware individual, it seems, from that footage, but that's not present on the security footage.
She's in there.
She's a puppet.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she does. It's her, but it's not her.
Yeah.
You can almost see the strings. Do we know where this woman is now?
Disappeared on the stairs.
All right, Reinhold pours another cup of coffee and just sits down and sips it and starts to turn it clockwise with the pads of his fingertips. And I want to use clairvoyance. Just close 2 of my 3 eyes. And with clairvoyance, I can see a hero location that I have seen before until my next turn. I see it as though I were physically present, but I don't gain additional sight powers. And another thing, the thing I want to do here, Virginia, is, and for those of you just joining us, Reinhold was led on quite a merry chase in some sort of warehouse, and remembers it. There was a pole, there was a huge room. I had to like leap to get there, and Reinhold doesn't even know if it was a real place, and is almost counting on it not being a real place, because if it was a construct, then maybe I can go back there and Shay will know it. It's as close as I can get to her mentally in this room. And I would like to give it a he sits down and gives it a shot. He wants to go back there. He wants to see it again.
Okay, you can do that. I will ask you to go ahead and roll me a will test, however.
Can I add my clairsentience and my concentration?
You could add one of those 2 things.
Oh, boo. I'm going
And
concentration.
I vote that Travis also adds a wild magic surge to this moment.
Yes. I, as the GM.
What the hell
agree.
does that mean?
Well, I mean, it could be really good.
Oh, good. All right. So it's a will. It's the bottom number plus 1 bar out. That's 46. Oh, joy. I got a 14.
Okay. Let's see what that wild magic surge does.
Alright, I rolled a 4873. Let me go and look at what this does.
So, Reinhold, you close 2 of your 3 eyes, and you try to trace your steps back there. You remember walking upstairs. You remember Tetley being next to you, walking and walking. Was that the same stairwell that Serena just disappeared on the footage? Walking. Then nothing. Blackness. And then trying to concentrate on the most prominent bits of that image. The bit where she had you tied down and then you weren't. The leap to get there. The strange emptiness of this warehouse and the corridors that led off of it. What is that wild magic surge, Charlie?
People who meet Judge Reinhold for the first time think he's a murderer.
Okay.
Oh, that's
There are
good.
some rumors on this block.
And you start to see it. The pale grey walls. That room. You can almost feel it, the coldness of it. There's an emptiness to it that wasn't there before when you had Shay there. The room had a presence almost the last time you were there. And you move through it. You can feel it physically beneath your feet again now, and it takes you a moment as you start going through, and you're almost hearing remnants, the whispers of your previous memories, the conversations that were had. Help them, Reinhold. Follow him. These flashes as the two kind of coincide and crash together. And then you hear something. Barking. You turn. And you can hear it again. You walk back down the corridor that you went down when she prompted you to follow the man that you had seen. And there, at the end of that corridor that once felt impossibly long, is a small corgi barking.
I take a really hard mental photograph of this hall.
Yes. It is a straight corridor with grey walls, the same kind of smooth flooring that you remember it having. And as you're looking around trying to do this, every time you look back, the dog is closer. Still barking. You look to the other wall, look back, and the dog is closer. And every time you blink, the dog is closer, still barking at you, that's getting louder and louder as it echoes through these walls. And Waits and Judy, you're watching Reinhold do this, and there is almost a chill in the room. And you swear that you can hear a faint barking somewhere. Almost in the back of your mind. Like it's not real. You recognize it's not real. You're not hearing it, but you can't help but feel like it's almost like you're experiencing it just the moment after. Like remembering that you'd heard something. And Reinhold, there's a voice. Clear as day in your ears. Welcome back.
I can hear you. I can feel you near me. We're coming.
Did I ever really leave, Reinhold?
I did. But I'm back. And I'm not giving up again.
Oh, I don't intend you to. I intend you to find me. You'll get here, don't worry. Then you'll see.
Why wait? Show it to me. I'll stand up and come right now. I'll bring you a cup of coffee. Where are you?
I'm where I've always been, Reinhold. Except now, I have company. And as if from behind this dog out of nowhere that's still barking at you on the floor, you see a few figures. The faces covered by judge helmets. The uniforms, dark, black, tactical, just like yours. The badges, you try to make out the names, but they're almost blurry. It would be such a shame for people to see what justice really looks like, Reinhold, wouldn't it?
Virginia,
Yes.
as Waits is hearing the barking in her mind, because I'm imagining this is happening pretty quick in Reinhold's brain, but we're just hearing like the barking. She
Oddly-
will reach. Can we hear
Oddly,
this
it's
as
not
well?
happening. You can kind of hear the echo of a voice. You can't make it out, but
That's
it's almost
fine.
like you like when you can
Um,
hear someone's headphones playing and you're next to them. It's
Mhm.
almost like that.
Waits, I think, can see Reinhold's face and is going to reach out and push the coffee cup out of his hand and onto the floor, attempting to disconnect because this psychic is coming in and she knows what happens when the psychic comes in, and she's looking at Judy and, disconnect the call. I wanted to let you guys have a little bit of the commentary, but I feel like Waits would be fairly quick to react.
Yeah. It's odd. You're catching, I imagine it takes you like the time that it takes because you're only hearing bits of this. And Reinhold, you feel something in your hands suddenly gone. and the image is fading. It's time to
Wait.
show them what they really are. And as this image fades out, as it breaks, and you can feel it break, but you have to force yourself to let it go slowly, or she's letting it go slowly. It's hard to tell. But in that split second, as the connection is gone from the sound of a mug shattering to the floor and the feeling of hot coffee over your legs, you see an image of you kneeling in a pool of blood.
As the coffee cup hits the floor and splashes and that smell comes up, I think Waits is actually going to have her own memory moment as she recalls Karis talking about that room and the R&D lab, the explosives lab, and she's going to remember about Dashford and hardly be plugging that in for an additional cross reference to what we've already been doing. It was last night, it kind of slipped from her mind, but she's suddenly remembering and she's thinking about, having an item, a physical item that connects you to a psychic, and that's how she gets from that to Karis in the lab.
Okay.
Sorry, Travis.
It's badass. No, you shatter the coffee cup. And Virginia, does it all come, and do I come back in a rush, or you said it's slow?
It feels like it's slow, but in reality it's a second. But it's almost
Right.
like she tried to hold on to that to get you this image is what you get. But then as soon as you see it, it's almost like a flash and it's gone. And then there's hot coffee and you can smell it. It's really strong. The mug is shattered across the floor.
And Waits is standing there.
Waits is standing there, and you can see her hand is kind of at the end of that swing. She's clearly knocked the cup out of your hand.
God damn it, Waits. I had her. What the hell are you doing?
She could have had you as well, Judge Reinhold.
We were talking. I was talking to her. I was right in front of her. You fucking knocked. Broke my concentration.
She was right in front of Judy as well yesterday.
She has an army of judges. Do you understand me? She has a wall of them. I've seen them. I don't know their names, but she's recruiting. Do you understand?
This would
Not all
tie
of us
into
are
the
gonna make that
information
of it.
regarding Judge Dashford. Missing psychic judges sent to the block as well. Who sent us
I've seen
back to the block? While we're in a paranoid state, who sent us back here? Do you know, Reinhold?
You what? No, you kidnapped me from the goddamn hospital. You fucking shocked me and dragged me here in a wheelchair.
remember
And let me
the
tell
events,
no.
Reinhold.
Let me tell you something. I have seen my death. Waits. I won't make it out of this alive, and it's fine. I've made my peace with it. But we're gonna
Reinhold?
walk right in there and kill this woman.
Make me a logic test. Logic plus if you've got perception.
Logic plus perception. Okay. Let's wait. Well, stand by, patient viewer. 2, 3, 9.
9. As the words come out of your mouth, you've seen your death. That image flashes in your mind again. You can't help but remember it. And you realize that's not your blood. In that image, you are not bleeding. You are not even hurt.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I look at Waits. I don't mean to raise my voice, and I don't mean to interrupt another judge. You just have to understand that it's either this or sitting in the common room watching Jeopardy. I'm going to throw myself in front of this bus to save Tetley and save this block and stop this woman. But I don't know where to go.
Judy, what's going on with you at the moment? As you've just seen this unfurl, Waits knock this coffee cup that's gone shattering to the floor, and Dashford is being talked about. The judge that you saw dragged down this corridor that apparently wasn't
Mhm.
there.
After the previous night, after hearing the echoes of this voice, seeing Reinhold so wound up and Waits doing something like that's not a Waits. Judy is almost like vibrating with like, I need to do something. She's a woman of action, and so all this standing around and all this talking and deliberating is driving her nuts. So I think she's pacing as this is happening.
Okay, pacing back and forth.
I'm like watching Judy pace, and as I'm watching her go back and forth with all three of my eyes, I go, "Waits, can I ask you a question?"
Yes, Judge Reinhold.
What do you know about blood? Waits. I'm seeing blood. In my mind, I was there. I was really there. And I saw a lot of blood, Waits.
I know enough about blood.
There will be blood before this is over. Lots of it. I've seen it.
There was last time too. Let's make sure it's actually over this time.
I need some more coffee.
Reinhold, I asked you if you knew who sent us here, because you have a habit of knowing things that people shouldn't know. I am aware that it was I who brought you back here.
Do I know, Virginia? Do I
You
know that
don't.
thing?
None of you were given the name of the female judge who handed the paperwork over. Just that you were to report directly to her.
Just and well, and it stands to reason too that this is the first time I'm hearing of it. Yeah, that.
Yeah, you weren't really told very much.
No, Waits kind of stunned you. Waits basically said the initiative's back on. Stun, get in the wheelchair.
But wait, whoa, and I like sip my coffee and set it down. I'm like, hang on, you gotta rewind that for a second. How did you get this mission? Who gave it
Myself
to you?
and Judy were summoned to the halls of justice to a senior judge's office. I was presented with a file which included everything, including your redacted report on your initial incident with Shay. I was instructed that we were to return to Freedom Falls, all of us, to attempt to recover the missing psychic judges, to identify and recover Judge Shay, to restore law and order to Freedom Falls. It is my understanding Judge Freeman also had a meeting with the senior judge. At the time, I was distracted from making an identification.
So,
Virginia, can I make a memory roll to recall? I don't know if memory is a thing in this game. I play too many games. Or some kind of roll to attempt to recall any detail about this judge that is like almost a sensory detail, like a scent about them, or a small habit they have, like did she pick at her fingers? She didn't do that, but you know, like any sort of small Sherlock Holmesian level detail that I can feed to Reinhold. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, make me I'd say this is going to be logic. And I'll let you use intuition here. You've got that, right?
Yes, I do. Let me just double check my logic score. Because I've got intuition as a skill. Alright, 2 plus 1 for intuition, I think. So that's 3 dice total. Ooh, that's not good. I rolled a 1, a 2, and a 6, so that is 9 total.
You do have luck, don't forget, Charlie.
Ooh, I do have luck. I have a lot of luck. Alright, so I just re-roll and I take whatever I roll, correct? Or do I add what I roll?
Gonna double check.
Because I have, excuse me, 2 points of luck.
Let me double check for you so I can get this right.
No problem.
You normally all roll so well that I never have to look this up.
I know. Today I'm rolling skills I didn't know I had.
Unless somebody can remember off the top of their head.
Unfortunately.
What the luck pool is?
Yeah.
I
She
think
gets to
it's-
spend her luck dice. She has as many luck dice as she has her score in luck, and she can spend those on rolls.
Mhm.
So you add
You
them to
don't-
the roll,
you don't-
right?
Yeah,
So,
But she
there
would
you
roll
go,
them
Charlie.
separately.
Alright, they're
It's not
additional
like
keep
side
dice.
points.
I think
Okay.
they explode also on 6s, I think.
Okay.
Yes, I remember that
I
being a
have-
thing.
2 of those. So I'm going to roll both of my luck points because we haven't used them before. And why the devil not? They explode on 6s. Okay, good to know. I rolled a 6 and a 4.
Nice.
And a 2. So that is 12 in addition to the 9, which is 21.
Okay. You try and think back. And you try your hardest to find something about her. Was there perfume? No. You try and have a look around the office, see if there's something distinct in here. Standard office. You try and think back to her. Did she wear anything distinct? Was there something about her uniform? Nothing. Any weird habits? Did she tap a pen? Did she check a wristwatch? No, just a woman that held herself very well. Clearly slightly pockmarked, aging face of a woman in her 40s who looked like she'd seen a reasonably hard life, probably working as a street judge is what you assumed. You can't place anything distinct, and you wonder perhaps if that's on purpose, or perhaps you just weren't in the room long enough for her to enact any of those habits, but it's just odd. You can't think of anything distinct that she did, the way she spoke.
Reinhold, this was a person trained to be unidentifiable. No scent, no habit, nothing distinguishing. Do I remember I would remember the office number at least.
Yeah. It was a room that was just labeled 344.
Alright, I would like to run the contacts that I was given and the room 344. And then I think Waits would look to Judy as if to say, can you call Kane and see if Kane knows who the frig this is?
Yeah. Judy nods and she's like, fine. She's still like, she's really tense and wound up,
Mhm.
but she will go and give him a ring.
Okay, Charlie, you go to run that through your systems, and Judy, you dial up Kane's number. And we're going to switch back to the arcade. Fremont, Grease / Brando, and Talon, you are up here. You haven't found out too much more information. There's a couple of people that can say that, yes, there is this woman who is apparently doing psychic readings or something in one of the lower levels. But nothing else. You do notice that people are eyeing you oddly, though. Not so much you, Talon, but definitely you, Fremont, and definitely you, Grease. Although you are dressed as Brando right now. But you walk past a stall, and you see a couple of people kind of look. They look at you, Fremont, and look at you, Brando. And one of them disappears off into the back.
Oh, hello there. That's somebody we should follow.
Someone wants to escape us.
They could try. And Grease is gonna follow after.
Yep.
Talon's going
As we
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Talon's going to stay out front at the stall just to watch the crowd, watch the flow. She knows this place. She knows its rhythms. She's watching that as they go off.
Okay, you stay out here and keep a look. There's still that odd feeling in the air, but People are mostly back to normal, and once Fremont and Grease kind of vault over this kind of stall and start making their way through, people are interested, but once they're out of sight, not so much anymore. Fremont, Grease, you vault over this small makeshift stall into the back of what looks like a makeshift kitchen that was once a living room. It's had several stoves kind of wired in haphazardly, and you can hear someone out the back in one of these other rooms, and it's hard to tell where these apartment buildings begin and end. So many walls have been knocked through to make these bigger structures, and you can hear somebody on the move and they're talking. You make your way through and you go into like a back kitchen. There's plates and pots and pans, and the voice gets clearer. Yes, they're here. I've just seen them out the front. Yes, they're still here. They're still here.
You might as well stop. I feel you in my head. We'll find you. Make it easy on yourself and just hold it right there.
The movement sounds stop. For the most part, anyway. And stepping into the view of the doorway is a man, maybe in his 30s. They're coming. I know what you did.
Who?
They were here. They were telling us about you.
The judges?
Oh, me?
Is that who you meant?
You, that three-eyed mutant, and Marlon Brando. They said they were looking for you. So I wouldn't move because you're about to get the justice that you deserve.
Grease is going to level the lawgiver down at Being's feet and fire off a round.
And he kind of, are you just like firing a warning shot, or are you actually trying to shoot him?
It's a warning shot.
He kind of jumps backwards away from the shot in fright. He's like, they'll add that to your ISO time, they will.
Oh.
Oh.
He fires off another one.
Ooh.
He kind of jumps back again.
I think at this point, like, Fremont's on the comms and just saying, we have company. Missing judges controlled by Shay. On our location.
Shit.
You all hear this through the headset.
Please report location.
I'll take kitchens where we're on the arcade.
Yeah,
Okay,
you can name the arcade and kind of what area it is. I imagine in the year that Talon has been here, it's been sectioned off, so you can quite easily coordinate there. And you all hear this. Talon out the front. A few moments later, you can hear heavy footsteps. As round the corner, there is a squad of maybe 3 judges, it looks like. It's hard to tell. They're coming through the crowd and people are slowly parting, and as they come up closer, you see there are 3 of them. And the headset mics kick in. We are the law. Surrender yourself now, or be executed for murder.
You're on the wrong block. And out comes she fires the sling with the explosives.
Go ahead, make that attack roll.
Okay, and she is taking time to aim. So let's see. So it was 2d6 plus 2d6 plus agility. Is it for firing?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I'm going to use a luck die. Okay, so that's 9, 16.
16. Let me just double check that. I opened the wrong PDF. 1 second.
While you look that up, Virginia, I've just had a look, and it seems we've hit 5 subscribers / resubs today, which means another
Ooh.
Wild Magic Surge.
Let's go ahead and do that now. It's always always fun.
Talon, aka Kat, would you like to roll that, or would you like me to roll that for you?
Would you roll that for me, please?
I will, of course. Anyone wondering Wild Magic Surges? We use a really cool table that you can go and look up for yourself from Net Librum.
So
Those are
what was
very
the
handy.
what did you roll, Talon?
It was a 16.
16. Okay, you throw off the explosive and it blows up, creating this huge bout of fire, and kind of some of the dust in the area kicks up from the kind of concrete walls, and stepping through the flames of this burning patch of concrete is one of these judges. And you can see the brass has now kind of got that slight blackening where the flames have licked at it.
But they're not taking the damage?
No, that didn't seem to take any damage. It looks like it fell just a little bit short of them.
Okay.
And one of them is now... Let's roll initiative, actually.
Okay,
So-
the Wild Magic Surge is actually super interesting. All reflective surfaces in the room reflect imaginary scenes.
Oh no.
It's getting
Okay.
real psychic and
Oh,
funky up
Yeah,
in here.
that's thematically appropriate. Oh, ooh.
Okay. So, everyone go ahead and roll initiative for me.
Including the 3 of us downstairs running up.
Including the 3 of you downstairs running upstairs. I will say that at this point you've probably got the elevator working again and can get to it. So I've got to go and roll initiative here.
It's been so long. What did we roll for initiative?
It is your intuition plus any relevant skill that you might have. So danger sense if you have intuition as a skill, reflexes, anything like that seems relevant.
Mine's really low for me. It's a 20.
It's a 20. Just gotta roll their initiative.
I just like to imagine that Judy was halfway through calling Kane, maybe got his voicemail, and she's like, as this explosion happens, she's like, okay, Bunny, call me back. Gotta go. She's running up.
So we have 20 for Judy.
Bunny or Buddy? Just
Bunny. Because he hates it.
Oh,
Has
just
anyone
that
got
scowl.
over 20?
I have 23.
24.
23 and 24 for Fremont.
It's intuition plus what?
Plus
Any other relevant-
intuition.
So plus any relevant skill that you think has got to like reacting. So if you've got like danger sense, or I'll let acrobatics go for you as well, because right now this is more about how quickly you kind of kick into action.
13.
13. Okay. So and Talon and Reinhold, what have you rolled?
12 for Talon.
I have no idea what's going on. I got coffee. What are we rolling?
Initiative.
Oh, far out. That's intuition?
Yeah.
Yep.
Plus the
any
skill.
Intuition
Intuition.
or yeah.
11.
Okay. Sorry, Talon, what was your one?
12.
12. Cool. So, up first, we have Fremont. You can hear this from the outside of the room that you're in. The usual, we are the law. Surrender yourself or be executed for murder.
Yep. So yeah, Fremont just turns around and just like bolts toward the explosion noise. And with that, I'm able to see them.
You bolt out, and from behind that kind of stall, it's about as far as you can get if you don't want to spend another action. You can see one of these judges those flames, you can see Talon has clearly let off an explosive, and one of these judges has stepped through the flames, and you can see the reflective surfaces of the armor. You can see it's partly blackened in some places, but the bits of the gold that you see, the brass, there's an odd reflection, things shifting. You can't quite see what it is. Even the glasses that are still intact along the table that you vaulted over, they are reflecting something. A corridor? It's hard to tell.
Well, first things first. Hopefully I can... She knows kind of what the deal is with these three, so she's going to just try and neutralize them by cutting off Shay's influence on them, by unleashing a psychic cone on them.
Okay.
So that should hopefully hit most of them? All three of them?
Yeah, you can catch all three of them.
Okay. And that is the same thing as Psy Blast, so it's going to be my Psy versus their mental defense.
Okay.
All right, so what is that? 4, 6. All right, let's... Oh, I have the... Yes, it's here. So I can totally do that. 25.
25. That will hit. Can you read me the effects of what that does?
It's the same thing as a Psy Blast, so it's a 1d6 psychic damage.
Cool.
But I am going to add, instead of like adding more psychic, I'm going to add luck points to that. So I'm going to spend 2 luck to make that add another 2d6 to that. 1d6.
Sure.
So I'm going to roll a 1d6 first. That's normal. So that's 5.
Yeah.
And then these can explode. 1 more. That was a 6. 13. 16 points of psychic backlash, and that ignores their judge's uniform, any silk they have.
Okay.
Hopefully soften them up a little bit.
You let this out, and you see them kind of, at least the one that's in front of the flames, stumble backwards, holding on to the helmet from the psychic blast, reaching for the lawgiver in his belt. That is both your actions.
Yep, I think she's just going to yell out, just like in her mind and verbally, like, let them go, Shay.
Okay. We move over to Waits. So I imagine you're all in the elevator now. Judy, Reinhold, and Waits. There's still some blood that hasn't been cleaned up in here. There's a pretty sizable dent in one of the walls. May or may not have been caused by Judy.
I would like to put into the fiction that Judy and Reinhold would have going for the elevator, but Waits stayed behind and secured the refuge because we still have Karis and her mother in here. And she knows that Talon would lose her shit if the refuge was not secured. So I would propose that Waits is actually going to spend her time. She's going to run to the elevator, push the button, and be like waiting for it. And then she's going to be like too slow, and she's going to use her run to start running up the stairs.
Okay, yeah. You take the time to secure the refuge. You lock the doors. You make sure the bunk room is locked up. But I actually imagine perhaps you put Karis and her mother in what used to be the armory. It's actually got an armored door that is a lot more secure. And you hope perhaps if anyone does get in, harder to open. Karis isn't too bothered. She's still upset about Tetley, but she's kind of preoccupied with that book that you've given her and doesn't really notice what's going on. And then, yeah, the elevator takes too long as Reinhold and Judy are still in it, working their way up to the arcade, and you start bolting up the stairs. And I would say you probably get about halfway. Waits is pretty speedy. So that's probably what you do on your turn, unless there's anything else you wanted to do, like talk to anybody or...
Well, as we're going up the elevator, I think he's like looking at the blood on the wall and like, I enjoy your program, Judy. I never missed it.
I'm real sorry about... And she just kind of points at all the relevant areas in the lift.
Well, it is your turn next, Judy, so what would you like to do? The elevator's
Um,
about halfway now.
Okay, she's basically prepping to get ready to be immediately into like combat mode. She switched to standard ammo, and she's just got it ready. I guess she's kind of like by the door of the elevator, so it's usually got like a little bits where the panels buttons usually are. She's up against there, so if fire is like immediately coming at her, she's got a little bit of cover, so she's ready to just like pop out and shoot.
So you are basically an Overwatch.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
We now go back to the judges who are attacking, it seems. Fremont, you are standing there. You are a target. You hear the judge call out, sentence, execution. For not abiding. What's the word? I've forgotten the word I'm looking for.
Eating and abetting.
For associate to murder, essentially. And the lawgiver comes up, and my dice are here. So, let's see. That is 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 against your ranged defense.
Yep.
Okay, so this is 3d6. 6, 7, 8. That is 9 points of damage as what seems to be a standard ammunition round fires off in your direction and pierces through one of the less padded sections of your judge's armor.
Okay.
And it's going to be a second action. Am I rolling the right number of dice? No, there we go. 8, 14, 19, 22.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got another 10 points of damage as another round comes off, and he's kind of doing that like the slow pace, like shot, take a step, shot, slowly making his way closer.
I am going to spend my last luck point to get rid of one of those d6s.
Sure.
Whatever negate one of the damage. So
is that the highest one or the lowest one that you negate?
I don't. Let me just double check. I think it just says negate a hit dice worth of thing. I don't think it says whatever your decision.
In which case, take 6 off of that. We'll go for the highest. It is luck after all.
Yeah. Okay, so that just like she's hit, but it hit like a really like thick part of the armor, so she gets knocked back, but it didn't necessarily like get through.
Yeah.
Like she still
it hasn't
one
gone
through,
through
but
like
the
the other
second
one
hit.
was. I imagine that it's just like it's the force, and it's like that rippling pain that you get when something slams against you. It's that kind of feeling. As those shots are off.
There's not like Fremont's about like 5 foot and like a twig. So like hits are just gonna like push her back to like maybe almost knock her off her feet.
Yeah. Grease, you can hear shots ringing out now from behind you where Gremont went to. It is one of the other judges' turns, however. And you see another one comes stepping through the flames, Fremont, as you're kind of stumbling backwards from that, and takes up a defensive position up against one of the stall tables. Calls out as well, surrender your weapon. And you see the arm go up on the table as another shot is pinged off in your direction. That is going to be 12, 17, 20.
Oh yeah, they're rolling pretty high.
Okay.
Rolling pretty high.
That is going to be 12 points of damage as another shot fires off at you.
Okay. Okay.
Grease, you hear these shots firing off. The man in front of you doesn't really know what to do, but he's looking between you and the entranceway behind you where Fremont went off to, but it is your turn.
What are you gonna do? You locked in here with me? You know what I do to people who piss me off? You think you're gonna get... Oh, you think I'm afraid of judges? Cute.
I think you should be when you were there. When that 3-eyed mutant murdered that man. I saw it.
I got no beef with Triclopses. I don't got beef with anybody but psychics. But you, I got beef with. Is you a snitch?
I did what any good citizen would do, but they can't even
And-
trust their own law enforcement.
And when he says law enforcement, he's going to level the gun and he's going to fire just a standard round at the lad. And he's like, I'm not law enforcement.
Okay. Go ahead, make your attack.
So pistols and agility. That's a nice round 6. Hold on, that's not the roll. The roll is an 18.
18. Yeah, that'll hit. He's not wearing armor. He's just got an apron on and a t-shirt.
And then let's go down here to, let's see, standard ballistic, range 12. What's the damage dice on that?
3d6, I think. Let me double check.
3d6?
Standard execution. Sorry, 2d6 plus 2.
2d6 plus 2. All right.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. That is a whopping 5.
5. Okay. You shoot him. It catches him in the chest. He goes flying backwards, hits the floor, and you can already see the blood forming as he grips onto his chest. And he tries to speak, but it just comes out as a wheezing cough almost.
Now,
you like to
what
do
do
with
we
your other
say?
And he goes to say something, but all you can hear is as he just
Could I use
clutches
my-
at his chest.
Could I use my action to take my simian foot and just kind of press on his chest?
You can, and as you do, there is more blood as he's wheezing even further, and the pool is building up behind him now. It is the other judge's turn, the third one out here, who also kind of steps through the flames and is beside the one that hit you first, Fremont. And he calls out, "All citizens, evacuate the area," as he fires off another shot at you. That's that many dice. So that is 12, 13, 15?
For my range?
Your
Yes.
range.
Yeah.
That also hits. What am I doing? 4, 5. That is 6 points of damage as another shot is fired
Okay.
away as he kind of steps forward. And you recognize this kind of technique. 3 judges all kind of moving in sequence, just advancing on you, firing shots.
Well, I'm certainly glad they're not us, where it's just high X and just go for it.
There's still a lot of people around here. They've started to kind of scatter out now as they've arrived and
Mhm.
started calling this out. But it's even you would hazard that using a high X round in like this, there would be a lot of civilian casualties at the moment. Next in the initiative, we have Talon.
Alrighty then.
It's at this point the elevator reaches the floor and the doors ding open. And just in time to you can hear the sound of a judge. All citizens evacuate the area, and then a gunshot rings out.
Talon.
Sorry, my mistake. You were not in the elevator. You were standing outside, right?
Yep.
So you
Yep.
were just in front of the store. You see this go on. Sorry, I got completely mixed up there.
No worries. Talon just is armor piercing and aims at the first one that shot at Fremont and fires her pistol. So that's pistols plus
It's agility plus pistols.
agility plus
attack.
pistols, and this is not. Is this considered a ranged attack? If I'm using perfect aim for this.
Yes, it is a ranged attack.
Okay. Sorry, I've actually never done this in combat.
Ooh.
Let's burn
fun.
another. Let's burn another luck dice on this. Oh, really? It's a 12 total.
12 total. You
Yep.
let off the armor piercing round. Does that ignore any armor, or does it just ignore
Yes, it
soak
does.
after damage? Let's have a look.
It's
Half
these rounds
damage.
ignore 10 points of soak, but do half damage.
Cool. Okay, so it's still not high enough to hit through the judge armor. You see it hit into one of the pauldrons, which, had it hit a bit harder, maybe just at the right angle, could have just caught under it, but instead it hits it itself. You see the hole that it leaves as it pings off. It does kind of catch this guy's like under the helmet, and you can see a little bit of blood, but it doesn't appear to have done any actual damage to him.
Okay.
You do have another
We're gonna
action though.
Right. Seeing the reflections, the odd reflections out of the corner of at a corner of her eye, I'm imagining the counter is chrome and
Yeah.
there's napkin dispensers and things like that.
There's this
And,
odd reflection. It looks like looking down a corridor, and there's a small shape somewhere in it that's moving, and it's hard to really make out what it is. It's slightly orange in color.
she's going to. I want to imagine that there's a shop nearby, away from the elevators, that's got like a glass door or a metal sheeting or something like that, and she can see that reflection, and she's going to use. She's going to try and distract them. She wants them to think that there are more judges coming from that direction, so that it looks like
Okay.
there are more judges down from the corridor. So I think she's going to use a rubber ricochet bullet to ping off of that, so that it looks like there's a bullet coming from that direction.
Sure, go ahead.
All right.
You can see
Really?
in this reflection, though, this strange reflection of that straighter kind of door, like glass door. The reflection is clearer. It's like looking into a corridor, and you can see what looks like a small dog.
That's an 18 this time.
18. That will hit.
I have no idea what kind of damage the rubber ricochet does.
So the rubber ricochet does 1d6 plus 2.
Okay. This is not considered an enclosed space then for.
It's not quite small enough for an enclosed space, unfortunately.
6 points total.
6 points total. Let's see, do they have any soak? If I can find it on stat block. Ooh. The bullet goes off and it bounces from here, and you see them kind of point their guns in that direction. The bullet itself doesn't really do any damage. It kind of pings off the front of the armor, but you definitely got their attention down the corridor. It is now Reinhold, it's your turn. The lift dings. You have arrived at the arcade. The doors open. You hear gunshots. There is the smell of burning.
So, do I see the assailants? Do I see the face of these three mysterious judges?
You can just make out as you kind of poke your head round the doors. Further down the corridor, you can actually see what looks to be a judge. You can just see the top of the helmet and the arm on top, resting on top of a table with a lawgiver in his
Excellent.
hand.
I want to do the perception filter, where I render myself hard to notice, which causes others to simply ignore me.
Okay.
Now, if their intelligence... it works automatically on those with intelligence less than my psi score, which is 9. So we got our fingers crossed that their intelligence is 9 or less. And I'm just going to... The picture of calm and confidence, step out of the elevator and walk straight towards this guy with no fear, and just try to walk up and stand next to him.
Okay,
her.
you can walk up and you can get kind of, not quite in front of him, but just to the side of that table. So he's just in front of you and the gun is just within reach. But that's probably both your actions to do that and get there.
Sounds good. I just want to stand right next to him. He doesn't even know I'm there.
Nope, he does not notice you at all. Fremont, what's your intuition? You're muted, I think, Shauna.
My int is actually less than that, so it's 8, sorry. So
8.
I don't see
So
that.
you don't notice that. Talon, what's your intuition? Seven. You don't see Reinhold either. I'm going to say that Waits and Judy can see you because they are aware that you have done this. However, that leaves us down to... Oh no, it's the end of the round. Everyone's had a go, right?
I think I go after
Yeah.
Reinhold.
I've got you.
Oh, no,
down
wait.
20. Yeah.
Yep.
You're after Waits. Okay, cool.
Oh, yep.
So top of the round, we are back to you, Fremont, after having taken a hail of bullets from these judges.
Yeah, she's kind of steadied herself. I have a power called Psychic Battery. It's you have vast reserve of psychic power. Roll 3d6, you get that many power points back.
Go for it.
I think imagine that's so it's an action, so I imagine so. That's 12, so I get 12 back. Okay. Well, that makes it easy. She'll just kind of like cough up kind of clear her throat and kind of cough up a little bit of blood and just say, "You are not the law here. We are the law." And I said, "Get out of their heads." And she'll unleash this all of her energy, all of her psychic is gonna go into just this terrible psychic scream.
Okay. Does that target all three of them?
Yeah, I'm gonna target all three of them.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right, so yep, so 6, 22.
That will hit all three of them.
Yeah, she's had it today. She's had it with it. She's been shot. This is the most time I think she's ever been shot up. So that is, let me just double check that.
It's like
psychic
training, but they fire you with stopper rounds but way more painful.
Yeah. So that's 8 psi, but I'm going to I am going to put in 10 extra points, so that'll bring me to pretty much 0. So that for every 4, 8, so 3d6, yeah, 3d6 again. 13.
13.
Second.
Okay. And that will bypass any soak that they have. Ooh, okay, that's pretty bad. You let out this psychic scream, and all of you can kind of hear this, but the only people it really affects are these 3 judges. I'm actually going to say that one of them, the last one that came up on the other side, drops his lawgiver just in agony, holding at their head, and you can see the one in the center seems a little bit hardier, and he kind of see the head turn, but he's keeping the gun trained. And the one at the table, you can't get quite a good view, but Reinhold, you see as this psychic scream is let off, the gun holding, there's almost head in his arms, trying to keep the gun trained, but is trying to do anything to try and block out that scream. That hit pretty hard.
Yeah, and I think Fremont just kind of slumps against the wall a little bit. She's just this took almost everything she had.
Yeah, and Grease, you can also hear the echo of this from outside.
The heck?
Must be unpleasant for Reinhold, because Reinhold could probably feel that. Not damage, but just...
It's sharper for you, Reinhold, with your psychic abilities. Wait, we get to you. You're just reaching the top of these stairs, and you hear the echo of this psychic scream being let out. And you've heard the gunshots as you come up the last couple of flights. What are you doing?
She picks up Pace, her weapon in hand, and it's kind of slowly cranking up the levels. The more gunshots, the more crisis that she's essentially hearing, and she'll call through the radio for an update on the situation as she kind of approaches and comes around the corner.
Okay. Somebody can give Waits an update if they wish.
That
Who would
screams
like
a
to do
pretty
that?
good indication how it's going for Fremont.
We have shots fired, 1 judge injured, 3 judges firing on us.
That's the
Wait,
update you received.
Inwardly, it's like, that is the worst update I've ever had. Like, how many judges? Who's injured?
busy.
What's going on?
You can get to the edge of this where you can see Judy in the elevator, and you can just see 2 out of these 3 judges just past the short corridor into that kind of open area beyond. You still have another action.
And then, yeah, she'll use an action to fire on one of these judges that is clearly not one of her team. Because
Okay,
that's
you've
essentially the
got-
information she was told.
You've got one crouching behind the table, and thinking about it, you weren't actually in the elevator, so you can't see Reinhold there. And then you've got the one who's a bit further on.
Is he mobile? Is he moving?
The one behind the table looks like he's taken cover. He's a lot more visible to you than he probably is to Fremont, who's probably got even less of an eye on him. And then you've got the one who is kind of standing. You can't quite see the third one, but he appears to be the one that's kind of trying to advance rather than take cover.
I'll take the one that's on the move. Kind of like probably aiming for the leg. Stop him
Go for
moving. So I'm gonna roll 5 dice. And my law giver is currently on a fairly high setting, I would imagine. Can I have set it to maybe Heat Seeker?
Yes.
She's basically trying to set it to not miss when she fires, knowing that she's going into like a spicy situation.
A
Alright.
spicy situation.
Yep, it's very spicy.
Go for
Alright.
it.
5, 10, 15, 19, 20.
Yes.
And a dice on the floor. Alright, so I roll 2d6.
You roll 4d6 because you're not in up close with
Yeah.
Heat Seeker. You get an extra 2d6 because you're at a
nice.
distance.
Let's just hope that it's going to
Oh.
go for this guy and not someone else on the way through.
No, you're clear of Reinhold.
Great. 9, 10, 13 total.
13 total. Okay.
I love my mini
guy.
dice, but I always drop one on the floor. I'm never getting that dice back.
You fire off the Heat Seeker, and it's almost like watching one of those Heat Seeker missiles. The bullet flies straight and then adjusts towards the source of heat. And it's trying to aim for the flames just behind him. And so hits straight through the chest. And you can see the Heat Seeker. It splits the armor plate in the center. And you watch as it goes through, clean out the other side, hits into where those flames are, sparks a bit again. As he just kind of drops to his knees, you can see the blood pooling out the front as he just falls forward, and the lawgiver scatters across the floor.
One assailant down, one hiding behind a table.
Basically.
That's
after
what Waits
this,
reports on comms.
Judy, it is your turn.
Okay, so from where I am, I can see the one behind the table, right?
Yes, you can just see like the top of the helmet and the gun
Mhm.
out. You also know that Reinhold is there.
Target practice for Judy. She's going to take a knee, use the aim action, and then she's going to ping off this guy's dome.
Okay.
Okay, so
I'm not going to give you a penalty dice because you are aware of Reinhold.
Uh-huh.
So,
25 to hit.
yeah.
With 9 damage.
9 damage. Okay. You see it ping off the top of the helmet. It goes through, but upon your inspection, it's just not, it hasn't pierced the flesh. It's just
Mhm.
compromised the helmet, is all it's done. You do have another action, though. Or did you aim, didn't you?
No, I aimed. But
You
for a
aim.
bit of flavor, Judy wants to do that thing. You know when you do that whistle where you put your fingers in your mouth? She wants to draw that guy's attention to her.
You whistle and you watch as his head flicks that way, but you see although his head's moved now, he's flicking between the two. Like he's
Mhm.
struggling to keep eyes on both you and whoever is round
Right.
that corner. You assume the other judges. At this point, Grease, it is your turn. You've heard more gunshots go off. The echo of Fremont's psychic scream.
Grease like peeks his head out. What's going on out here?
As you peek your head out, there is a dead judge laying maybe 10 or 15 feet from Fremont and Talon. A pool of blood. There are still some flames in the background. There is this third judge who's kind of up against one of the walls on the other side, who's kind of looking between Talon now. You as you've popped out, and his fellow dead judge. And you can just make out someone just crouched behind one of the tables.
Can I see the person who crouches behind the table?
You can just about see. You'd probably have a penalty dice to try and hit them.
I'd like to move to where I can see them and then fire an armor piercing round.
Okay. You'll have to if you get up on the table, like the stand that Fremont's just in front of, you can probably get a more top-down shot. Especially if you like grab onto a light fitting or something. You are quite dexterous. So
Yeah.
go ahead, make that shot, and you won't have a penalty dice.
Sweet.
Reinhold is not
All right.
quite in the way from your angle.
So that is just making sure that I got it right. Okay, that is 6th. And that is a whopping 22.
That will hit.
And then 2d6 plus 2.
Yep.
8.
8. Okay, you fire off a shot, and Judy, you see this happen. You see the bullet come flying through straight into the helmet again, and this time it kind of it cracks the top part. You don't see any blood, Grease. It looks like the helmet has done what it's supposed to, but it's now pretty trashed. And you see this judge kind of, with one hand, kind of pulls it off and just chucks it away. There is no helmet now, but you figured it probably wasn't doing much anyway after that. So I'm going to reduce his soak down a little bit.
Okay.
Thank you so much for that donation. I will go and have a look at what that is right now.
It's a crit success for you, Charlie.
Ooh, thank you very much.
You do still have another action if you want, Grease.
I can't make another shot with an action?
Yeah.
I'll just make another shot
Go ahead.
right into their dome. They took the helmet off. Gonna take advantage. Let's see that 13.
That is not quite enough to hit, unfortunately.
Oh, son
It
of a...
pings off the back wall, but it does make him flinch, which makes him a little bit more visible as he kind of shifts out of the way. It is one of the other judges' turns, however. Let's see. So the one that is standing up, you see, he calls out again. Put down your weapons or be executed for murder. He waits a moment, and when nobody reacts, he's going to fire a shot off at you, Talon, because Fremont, you're kind of slumped against the wall. And so he's going to go for the next kind of put together looking person who isn't currently bleeding. And that, unfortunately, is you, Talon. That is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
You
10,
can't
11,
hurt
12.
Judge Soup.
Does 12 hit your range defense?
Yes, it does.
It does. Okay.
Yep, ranged is 11.
6, 7, 8. So that's 9 points of damage there.
Okay, with
As he fires a shot off at you. And he's going to go for another one. And this time he's going to go for Grease as you've now come out. He's going to try a shot for you. 6, 12, 13, 14. 15, 16, 17
Let me see.
against your range defense.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. 6, 9, 10. 10 points of damage in total, but you should have some soak. If
Yeah, I'll
you're not
soak
wearing
5,
your armor, are you? You're not
No,
wearing
I'm
your
not.
judge armor.
Nope.
In which
Some
case, I
men.
will give you a soak of 3.
Okay.
I think your armor is 5, if I remember right.
My usual soak is 5, so
Yeah.
that will bring me down to 12. Sweet.
12. Yeah. So he fires off those shots, and it's very precise. It's the shot at Talon, and he doesn't even wait to see if he hits. He then just fires up at you and hits both of his marks. Reinhold, we are over to you. You see this happen. You see the guy in front of you who now has his helmet off, is looking between Judy and Talon.
Does he look like he's in his right mind? Can I make a snap now that his helmet is off and I can see his eyes? Does he look like he is conscious of his own actions, or does he have kind of a stare, like maybe he's being controlled somehow?
You can find this out. It will cost you an action though, because it will be a test.
Okay, but before I do that, can I do 2 psychic actions in a turn? I can't remember. Can I do
you can
2
you
things?
get 2 actions in the turn, but to analyze what he's doing and what he looks like right now will be an action.
Ah, fuck it. Okay, so I want to do the psychic. If I drop my my whatever this thing is called, the perception filter.
And then he looks
So-
very worried, because as he's looking at Judy, you suddenly come into his field of vision, and he
Right.
almost for a second, out of not so much fear, but just out of like natural instinct, kind of shifts slightly away from the cover.
I mean, I'm like right next to him, like right in his personal space.
Yeah.
Like
He's just kind of like,
Like-
oh.
uh-huh.
You can see there's some
And now-
training there that tells him not to get up and run, but he can't help but have that human instinct to kind of flinch.
And that's all the information I needed. I want to do. There's a suggestion here. Shit, help me out, Fremont. Where I can tell him to perform an action. What the hell
Oh,
is it?
like yes, that is
Psychic suggestion.
it's-
Psychic suggestion.
Psychic suggestion, yeah.
He's
Yes.
within 5 feet. We make a psi versus mental defense check, and on a success, he will perform 1 action as directed by me.
Go ahead.
That doesn't cause him harm.
Yes.
All right, so my psi is 9. Can I add 2, both of my luck dice?
Yeah.
That's how this works, right? So 9, 10, 11. So we're gonna roll this, and we're gonna roll.
Damn.
Hold on, one more. Oh Christ! Now I got to do this math. Learning Fantasy Grounds 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 27, 30.
Yes. The answer is yes.
That's your ass. Drop the gun.
And in that moment, there's that flinch as you give him the command. You see a look in his eye as he almost looks confused. And then doesn't just drop it. In very judge-like fashion, releases the mag, puts it down, clears the chamber, and puts the gun down. Exactly as your judge training would teach you, to clear a weapon, make it safe, and put it down.
Yeah,
And that's what he does.
And that's my action, right?
Yeah, you've got another one.
I got another one. Is he crouched?
He is.
I'm in full judge mode, and I'm just gonna hold my hand out, and like I'm gonna help him stand up.
And he kind of oddly goes to put his hand out to reach yours. Is that all you do? Do you accept his hand, or?
Yeah. Do we do the tango and cash this action?
He kind of does. He
And,
kind of grips onto your arm like that as you, I guess you try and kind of pull him up.
Stand him up, and I don't know if I have time to talk to him, but the look in my eye says, it's you and me. You don't need to go shooting it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to try and get him to, like, all but trust me in this moment and see what he does.
He's looking at you cautiously. He doesn't really know what to make of it, it seems. And we're back to the top of the round with Fremont.
Fremont doesn't have much left in the old gas tank over here, so I am going to actually use a trait called commanding. So I can give if I use both my actions, I can give one of my allies a free action. So you know what? I'm just gonna say that I'm gonna give Judy a little bit of a speed push to let her do whatever she needs to do, and just neutralize these judges.
Okay, Judy.
That'll be my turn.
Okay. So one's dead. Reinhold's got the other. Where's the other one in relation to me? Can I see them?
You can't see them. You can hear the shots they're firing, but they're just there's a corner before the square opens up, and he's just behind that in your line of sight, unfortunately.
Okay, so I want to like sort of maneuver myself so I will get a line of sight on him.
Sure, you can come out of the elevator and kind of forward up to just before that length of table. Gives you a little bit of side cover, but you can see him in your sights.
Okay.
He is up against another wall, and he's currently got a gun trained on. It looks like grease.
Not Grace. Okay, so that was a move. I can't aim, so I'm just gonna go for a normal shot. Because I believe actually changing your ammo type is also an action, so it's just standard. If
it is, I forgot that it was.
That's a 14 to hit.
You fire the shot off, and it ripped through some of the armor, but you would know because you wear the same armor, you've hit through a load of padding. You have not hit anything vital. It might have been a little bit painful from the impact, but that's about it.
And she's going to do the same thing as well, like get this guy's attention. So he's pulled between the two.
You see his head kind of flicks towards you. You can't see the eyes because of the helmet, but you can just spot the turn of it as the look has gone your way. But they seem very focused, as a judge would be in this case. Waits. We are now onto you.
Is there a assailant judge that Waits could get to attempt to handcuff? Since all these evil judges seem semi-distracted at the moment, is there a way that I could use an action to run and then attempt an arrest?
Probably the one that Reinhold is holding on to.
Alright, then she would like to attempt to do that.
Okay, go ahead and do that. I am going to make this opposed, however, because he's not going to want to be arrested by you. So
she comes running in, and she's going to try and grab that free arm and twist it up and behind his back.
Okay, I'll let you use agility.
Reinhold's got one arm, right?
Yeah. I'll let you use agility for this, plus whatever relevant skills you might have. I'm going to roll with strength. Does he have anything
relevant skill?
5, 6, 10, 15, 16.
I'm just checking my bonus.
What skills have you got?
Yeah. I was checking the exploits and traits really quick. Yeah, no, there's nothing there. Can I use intuition to help? Or intimidation?
I don't think either would necessarily apply here, especially since
I've got running to move quick.
Running will help, yeah.
Alright, so I'll roll 4 dice. 6, 10, 15, 16.
We are tied. I believe reactive characters win, if I remember correctly. So you go ahead and you begin to handcuff him, and he fights. Like, Reinhold, that moment where you thought that perhaps he had trusted you in some way, you suddenly realize actually, Waits comes in just in time. As she dashes past, grabs the other hand and twists it. It's just as he goes to lunge out in a swing, and Waits catches the arm, cuffs it, and just pulls it back behind his back, allowing you to kind of force the other one back round. That was totally a ploy. He was going to go for you as soon as he could. Waits, that's probably going to be both of your actions, because that's the move and then the actual handcuffing. If that's good with you. Okay, and we come on to Judy's turn. Judy, as you just deliberate in that moment of what to do, you hear something.
Oh no.
There's a whistle. And from the doorway, kind of the other side of this judge, appears another judge. This one is not wearing a helmet. He comes out, he is tall, with this dark hair. You recognize Dashford as he comes out, and he has a lawgiver trained, and he's kind of not quite crouched, but kind of built into himself like this as he steps through the doorway, and he whistles. And as he does, you see a small furry creature come to heel beside him. And then you watch as he crouches down and kind of takes cover up against this doorway, low to the ground, which then causes an issue because you've got all these stalls now in the way, so it actually kind of makes him harder to see. But you do spot that he moves over closer around the wall with this dog, who you recognize as Judge Tetley, following almost guard dog fashion in front of him. You know, like the way that you'll see dogs shield, like if you've ever seen soldiers move with dogs and stuff, like that, as he makes his way round to the table that Fremont is standing just in front of, as well as Talon and Grease is hanging a little bit above on the other end as he moves round, with Tetley in front of him, almost shield-like the whole way as he kind of commands him, and Tetley follows. He gets to that table, and you watch as he looks down and he clicks his fingers. You can just see it across the thing, and points. Tetley disappears underneath this table.
Immediately my comms, Tetley sighted. He's with Dashford. And then Judy is gonna... She's gonna be dumb. She's gonna be very Judy. She's gonna stand up out of her cover to give her a higher position so she can look down at Dashford, who's crouching. She's gonna shout, "Dashford!" And she's gonna aim at his face and shoot him.
You shout, and he doesn't seem to react. Like, he doesn't even flick up at you in the way that you expect somebody would. His eyes are trained on something underneath that table.
Okay. All right.
But go ahead and make your shot.
She's gonna change to stun ammo.
Okay.
Before she does, because she doesn't want to kill him. Okay, let's go.
Susie does, but Judy doesn't.
To 17?
17. That will hit.
Nailed it. Okay. So that's 2d6 plus 2. That's not a d6. That's a 10.
10. Okay.
And it's stun. So if he goes down, then he's not dead.
Go down, but the round goes off, and you can see it hits. And I always imagine these almost like taser charges, and you can see it kind of shocks the arm. You see it jolt, but it hasn't got enough purchase under, like, on a piece of flesh under the armor to really do too much. Probably stung a bit though. Would you like to do anything else?
I changed ammo and I shot, so that's it.
Cool.
And she's just stood there like, Dashford!
Okay, so
like an
that was
action movie.
his turn. We have the other judge who's currently in handcuffs, who is going to attempt to break away from you, Waits. So if you want to go ahead and roll, this is going to be strength here, because he's basically trying to now pull away from you, thrashing around, trying to shoulder back into you. That will be added there.
Bad news for him. I'm stronger than I am fast.
5, 10, 16 again.
I rolled 15, 2 6s and a 3.
He shoulders you really hard, like harder than you expect him to be able to get purchase on. But you see, he actually strains his wrists and the cuffs to bash you in the shoulder, which pushes you backwards a bit. And then he pulls the grip free, and he tries to make his way away from you and Reinhold towards that other judge who's up against the wall. You guess he's going to try and look for some cover, get some distance between you. And then we are on to Greece.
The judge that I was firing at, I'm just going to take another shot at.
Go ahead. So the one you were firing at is the one now running away in cuffs.
Even better.
Go ahead.
What does a 24 get me?
Yeah, that'll hit.
And that's 7.
Okay. You take the shot at him, and it catches him right in the back of the neck as he runs. It would have been clean through the shoulder, but he'd just broken away from weights, and you shifted the sights to work with it, and he goes down hard on his right side, as there's nothing to kind of stop. He's not necessarily dead, but he's definitely incapacitated at this point. That looked painful. He's still kind of writhing around on the floor, but at this point there is no way he can get up, no way he can be a threat. Cuffed and injured that badly. It is the last judge's turn, however, who is there, and you watch as his eyes now flick. His attention is drawn away from you, Judy, as he's looked towards where you have shot, and he sees Dashford, looks at him, looks at Talon, looks over at you, shifts round a bit, like around that edge of the wall so he can see Dashford, and takes a shot at him. 8, 12. Oh, that's just enough. Okay. He fires off a shot at Dashford. 9 for 9 points. It doesn't do any damage, but Judy, you can see from your position, it rips through another piece of the armor. And then as soon as that's done, he's got his gun trained back towards you. He's kind of shifting between targets, waiting to see who's going next. Reinhold. The judge who's just slipped away from you and waits is now lying on the floor, bleeding from the back of the head. You've got this other judge who shifted round, and Dashford, it looks like, who's come out of a doorway with Tetley.
I see Tetley.
You can't
Is he within
see
10
Tetley.
feet? I can't see him?
No. So Dashford came out of this doorway. You saw Tetley and him move around, but from where he is now, you can't really see much more than just above his like collarbone area, above this table. You can't see Tetley. Judy has called out that Tetley has been sighted, though.
But so if I can't see him, I can't psychically affect him or use any of my abilities on him. Do I need line of sight to do that?
I would say you would at least need to know where he is, because without sight, he could have gone off into one of the buildings.
Okay.
You can't. If you knew where he was, then yes, but you don't at this point.
How far away am I from Dashford?
15 feet, maybe.
15.
15, 20 feet.
I want to set this guy on fire. I want to do pyrokinetic blast, and he has to roll my psi versus defense, and I want to spend like 8 psi points on it, and just instead of blasting it with fire, it'd be great if he could just combust. But we'll see what happens.
I'm gonna look that up very quickly. What's it called? Psychokinetic blast.
Technically, it's pyrokinetic burst. Oh, I don't qualify for it. No, wait, no, yes I do. Pyrokinetic blast, I qualify for. Not burst, because that's fire in all directions.
Let me have a look. Pyrokinetic blast.
I blast an opponent with a range increment of 10.
Okay. Oh, I see it. Go ahead.
Sweet. Okay, so it's Psy, and I've spent my luck. 34.
I mean, that will hit.
Cool. And because I spent a bunch of Psy points on it, he's going to take 4 5d6 damage,
Oof.
which is 20. And I'd love it if the guy just exploded into flame. I mean, not
You want him to
exploded,
burst
but
into flame.
Burst into flame. Yeah, explode is a little excessive. but
How much damage in total does he take?
20?
20. He does. He bursts into flame. You see Reinhold kind of give a look and there's a gesture. And nothing for a second. Until it comes from under the armor first, up across the eagle pauldrons as it bursts outwards. The table next to it catches light with the kind of it's got like a chrome top, but you can see there are boxes and stuff stacked out front, and you can see the flames kick up. Judy, the table that you just saw Tetley go under,
Mm-hmm.
and Dashford's body eventually slumps in a charred heap over in the corner. But we are back up to Fremont.
All right. I'm going to use Voice of the Law on Tetley, and just say, "Come here, Tetley. Come here, Judge Tetley. Heal now." So that
Okay.
is a charisma mental attack on Tetley.
Go for it.
All right. So my charisma is 3. Can I use my insight on that one?
Sure.
Okay. Alright, 5d, come on. 21.
That'll hit. You just say, "Come, Tetley."
Yeah, it's just it's the same thing kind of as the other command thing. It's not anything dangerous, but it's for like a single action.
Okay, Tetley, you see, burrows out from between some of these boxes as it starts to catch light, and he comes towards you. And as he does, you watch as he lunges.
Oh no.
Hey, role players, welcome in. Thank you so much for that raid.
Hey! He lunges towards you as he does, because you told him to come, you didn't tell him not to do anything else. Basically, yeah. However, he has got a critical fail that we were gifted. Tetley lunges towards you, teeth bared. He kind of skits out, turns around, jumps up towards you, and as the rest of the boxes under this table catch light, and this place was serving kind of food and drink. There's obviously a gas system out there that they've been using to kind of keep the hot plates on. That blows, and you get caught in it, and it pushes you out the way. It doesn't really do you any damage as such. It's only like a tiny little thing, and it looks like it was probably nearly empty. There is shrapnel that goes everywhere. You are pushed to the floor, but your armor takes most of it. Judy, you're just a little bit too far away to really be caught by anything too dangerous, but you do get some of the metal shards your way. And you see Tetley's mid-jump at this. There's a bright flash. And then you look down, and Tetley has managed it looks like he's been thrown slightly, but has managed to find himself around the edge of the other table, kind of stood there, confused. Looks around. And Fremont, as you're laying there on the floor, Tetley pads over to you. Licks you on the cheek. Nudges your face until you eventually move or make a sound, and then proceeds to just climb up onto your back and lay there, like covering as much of you as possible.
Oh.
Are you
That's
okay
fine.
there, Susie?
That was
He's a special boy.
that was a mental roller coaster. Oh my god.
Well, I told you I'd use the crit fail for something. I didn't say it had to
Just
be
like-
something terrible. And
That's-
we now have Watts. It's now your turn. you see this happen. There was this bright flash. You two are showered in shrapnel. What are you doing? Charlie?
Typing in chat.
Oh! Sorry. I didn't realize you were talking to me. I thought you were talking to someone else. I was like waiting for whoever it was to go. I'm sorry. I was busy just thinking about our very good boy and other very good boys out there in the world. It was a very distracting moment. So I think Waits is gonna kind of set down the settings on her gun and try and process what the fuck is happening in this room. Because she basically came up to a war zone, and she did hear that one judge was injured, and she's trying to figure out, like, which judge is actually in a bad way here. That, you know, on the good side, not on the other side. That's the questionable meat puppet side.
Grease and Talon have both taken a couple of shots. Fremont looks the worst. Now that you can see Fremont, having been caught by this blast, is kind of face down, seemingly alive. Tetley has now climbed onto her back and is covering the area like any good guard dog would. But you can see where the armor has been pierced to the skin.
All right, Waits would move up and is going to try and extract Fremont from the situation.
Okay, I will say that you can do that. You can go up and with Tetley's help, who has kind of grabbed onto a bit of Fremont's looser armor, and it's not gracious, it is just literally dragging someone out of the way backwards. And Fremont, you were dragged clear of the center of this square.
Yeah, she's just like super light, so it's probably not that hard.
Judy, it's your turn. There is one of these other judges left, the one that just shot at Dashford.
Yeah, bit weird that. Don't know what entirely is going on there. So Judy is going to switch to... He's wearing armor, right?
Yes.
She's going to switch to armor piercing and shoot at him.
Okay.
It's going to be a 19 to hit.
That'll hit.
Okay, and that is going to be 10, but half of that 5, and it ignores 10 soak.
He is down. It's the single bullet that rains out in the eerie silence after that explosion. Just the piercing sound of it leaving the chamber and the thud as it impacts center body mass, just like you were trained to do, and he hits the floor. You're now left with 2 dead judges from that squad. One who is still alive, semi-thrashing around and slowly bleeding out, and Dashford, burnt to a crisp. Ted is currently still laid atop Fremont.
Talon's on the comm calling for Janet to come down.
I'm going to go to Dashford's body, and even though he's charred to a crisp, I'm going to still pat him down and see if there's anything still on him that's a hint or a clue.
Judy's not afraid of red hot things.
No.
You pat him down, and your hand, which is still slowly healing, it's sore to touch. Everything's so hot, especially the pauldrons. And you pat him down. He doesn't appear to have anything on him, just that lawgiver. No pad. No, none of the things you'd expect a judge to be carrying.
I'm gonna take his weapon. Just keep that with me.
You take his weapon. What is everyone else doing with the other 3 judges?
They're down, right?
They're all down. 2 are dead. 1 is still half alive.
Waits is now in full extraction mode with Fremont. The rest of the team can handle the Bernie bodies.
Talon's going over and taking badges off of the other 3.
You start taking badges off. You have one which is Ryan's, of one of the judges. That's one of the dead ones. The other one that stepped through where you thought the badge read Dashford at first, stepping through the flames. When you pull it off the body, it reads Jones. Not Dashford like you first thought. The last one, the one who's still alive, you turn him over and he's coughing, there's blood. And his badge at some point has come off in this fray. It looks like it's probably ripped off as he's hit the floor. But he's still alive and coughing.
She's going to take his helmet off.
You pull the helmet off. It's a young man, maybe in his mid-20s.
Name.
He kind of spits a load of blood out of his mouth, coughs up a little bit more, tries to move round so that he can actually see your face properly rather than just kind of being half up. He doesn't say anything, he just kind of looks at you.
Her pistol's now against his forehead. Who gives you your orders?
Who do you
Give
think
your order.
gives me orders?
The voice in your head.
The Hall of Justice. You are rogue judges. No business
Name.
being here.
Name. Commanding officer. Now.
Henson.
Thank you.
You recognize the name. That is the name of the officer that put you on the initiative in the first place.
Who
Way
else
back
is on
at the
your team?
beginning.
Who else is on your team?
Ryan's, Jones.
Who are you?
He kind of just stares you down. Surrender your weapons, turn yourselves in. But for the murder of judges, you will be
Which
executed.
judges? Which judges?
The two that you shot.
Which two? Give me a name. Tell me who I shot.
Ryan's and Jones.
I didn't shoot them. You were saying that before we came in here. You told me I executed judges before that. Who did I execute?
You didn't. He looks over past you at Reinhold. He did.
Which judges?
We had reports from citizens here that Judge Reinhold was seen murdering a judge.
Hmm. So you had citizens accusing a fellow judge of murder. And you decided to show up and just...
We had
Kill
them
the judge.
psychically examined. The memories were very clear.
Are you the psychic judge?
I am not. But as you know, there are many at the Hall of Justice. I suggest
yes.
you remove these cuffs, hand in your weapons.
I suggest you go to sleep and she's just going to knock him unconscious.
Okay. And I will ask very quickly before we finish up for tonight, is there anything else that anyone wishes to do or try to find out here on this scene?
I just want to do Psychic Shield on Tetley. Shield Other. Tetley gets a +8 mental defense.
Okay.
And just to try and kick whoever's in his precious little head out.
Okay. And you set that up.
Virginia is not in the mechanics that
Mhm.
I'm aware of. But I am a vampire mutant. And
Yeah.
vampire blood is known in lore to have restorative powers. And what Waits would like to do is attempt to heal up Fremont with her own blood.
I will say you can do that.
I'm happy to make a roll to see if it works or not, but that would be my proposition.
I'm happy for that, just to let that happen, because you've got the time now. There is no immediate threat here.
She's kind of doing it discreetly in the corner by the elevator.
Yeah, you do this, and I will say that Fremont, you can gain back half your hit points from this.
Cool. Am I a vampire too now? Does that mean I'm a vampire?
Oh, roll for vampirism!
I'm not sure. We can discuss that though.
She already kind of looks like one, so it wouldn't be that different.
We would be 20s.
Yes.
We'll see if that manifests. Fremont, now that you are up and seemingly quite revitalized by this strange reddish substance that waits has
Cool.
been dripping into your mouth, is there anything you would like to do on this scene? You have a now unconscious judge, 2 dead judges, and 1 burnt to a crisp.
Okay, and she'll just kind of weakly just kind of stand up and say, take that one, but bring one of the bodies. Once I rest, I can figure out what they know.
If you want, I will happily let you do something here. I know you're out of psychic points, but I will also say if it's rejuvenated some of your health, you probably have enough to do something.
You can always use your nat 20, maybe.
Yeah, you have a natural success. So if there's something that you want to know, I can happily let you use that to do a power or something, or...
I don't think this one takes a 20, but I'm going to use Necrophony, which I can ask a corpse that died within 1 hour a single question.
Okay. I will let you do that with your crit success.
Where is Shay?
The reply?
Physically.
They have to be truthful, right?
As to the best of its knowledge, I guess, yeah.
The reply that you get. Who is Shay?
Oh, so where is she? Where is Shay?
And his answer is, who is Shay?
Oh. Oh.
And there's a bit that dawns on you here, Fremont. This
yeah,
judge,
her, like...
one of the 3 judges that came in first, does not know who Shay is. And since you're using a crit success, I'll give you some extra information, because crit success, right? This is truthful.
Oh, shit.
And you get no feeling. You know what it's like when somebody's been in someone's head. You don't get that feeling from the slowly ebbing kind of what's left of the consciousness. You don't get any degree of psychic residue here.
Mm.
This judge was a judge. He is also not a side judge. You can tell that just from what you can feel.
These weren't controlled by her.
I think it's
they're
because
orders
she's their
from Judge
boss.
Henson. Judge Henson, who sent us here in the first place a year ago, is the one who ordered them here. Told them we were rogue.
Then Henson's the
Specifically, that
puppet.
Reinhold was rogue.
Reinhold was rogue. That they had reports from citizens that he was murdering judges.
Judge
Well, don't
Henson.
believe the truth.
We might have a bigger problem than Shay, then.
Judge Henson has always abided by the law and has the utmost respect for the law. His work here was for the law.
I
His
thought that
initiative.
too.
Judge Henson.
You did. You get a phone call. It starts with
Hey,
the words,
Bunny.
"Don't call me Bunny." He asks you, are you sure about this room number? This is the room number.
Mm-hmm. Sure is.
Judy, that room doesn't exist.
I was in it, dear. With
And he
weights.
explains, he checked. That room doesn't exist.
What?
There is no office with that room label. The description of the judge, he says he asked, he ran it through everything. You probably could have got information from Fremont, because Fremont, you had kind of seen this judge around in, recent months after you'd been reassigned. There's a couple of people that kind of match the description, but they're people that you know.
Mm.
This judge, he can't find a trace of who she is. And the room that was her office, that was an office, fully furnished, doesn't exist.
There it is.
Hmm.
Which is a worrying implication, Judy, because if her office doesn't exist, who gave you orders to come back here?
Mm-hmm.
And why are there judges seemingly not controlled by Shay who had come to collect you? And for the most part, the one upside, however, is you do have Tetley back. What Dashford's plans were bringing him to the firefight, you don't know. But right now, he seems to be more concerned with all of you. Even you, Grease. Once you've come down off the table, he comes over, sniffing at your feet, checking you're okay, and he does this to all of you. Before he makes his way back over to Reinhold, sits at his feet, like he did back at the home, waiting expectantly. Looking a little worse for wear. He looks a little tired, a little shaken, but he's back. But a dawning reality is set in. Did you just murder judges? And that's, I think, a good place to stop for tonight.
I think we need a Judgment After Dark to go over this. I
Oh!
have theories. I have feelings. But while
The conspiracy is
we go around,
unfolding.
we hear some theories and feelings from the cast and crew today. I'm going to open up a poll in chat. It's our customary poll. It says Judge of the Week. Yay! We all qualify.
Don't forget, Susie, you still have your narrative boon that you haven't used yet.
Oh, that's right. What was that again? Sorry, just because I don't think it was said on
Narrative
screen.
boon. You can use it to introduce something to the narrative.
Hmm.
So
Can I keep hold of that for next time?
Yeah.
let's go around. Let's hear what everyone's least favorite scene of today was, because this was a shit show of epic explosive proportions and psychic pain. Let's go counterclockwise, because that's just how I'm feeling tonight. And let's begin with the wonderful Shauna.
Oh my god. It's just a lot. Not necessarily my least favorite, where I was the most scared. I thought Tetley was going to kill me for a split second. I just is this how it ends? The Corky gets me. It's like, oh no. But that was great. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to think about this. Maybe I'm a vampire or not. But yeah. I'm Shauna, Flying Sis on Twitter. Did the art and stream games. I did a little bit of art on Fremont earlier today. She's already kind of slightly vampire looking, so if anything changes, nothing. She'll just have sharp teeth. I don't know. But yeah, you can catch me on actually on next week on Monday. It's going to be the Crownlands, which are run by lovely Charlie. It's going to just probably ruin our strange horse racing family, and we're going to cry probably. And then after that, on Monday on Onyx Path, it's Shadowed by Streetlight, where we're doing a Chronicle of Darkness game, where we are a bunch of college students trying to find our friend, and there's already a scary goose, so that's where we're at right now.
Always room for a scary goose. Cleric Accord. Cat. What about you?
I have theories. I need to get some tinfoil. I gotta make a hat. Hi, I'm Kat. I'm at Cleric of Cord. I love this game. I'm gonna be very sad when this month ends, because this is plans within plans. I play games, and this coming Wednesday on Tales of the Grim, we've got first episode of Watchers coming up, which is a Watchmen-based RPG using Blades in the Dark system. Come hang out and watch. It's amazing. Yes, we are Matt. We are We are the watchers. Get to find out who's watching us. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time, which is noon Eastern on Off the Table. We're doing a 12-hour stream. I will be playing Dredd first off. So I will be starting my Saturday morning playing Dredd. But we've got a lot of great people lined up over on Off the Table tomorrow. So come hang out and donate and help us raise a little bit of money to support the stream. And then I'll be back here on Friday, next Friday. See if we can find out
Awesome.
who's
If
running things.
one of our lovely moderators could do a little shout out for Off the Table, that would be awesome. It's a great roleplay channel. They have a whole range of things, and we'd love to send them some support for this weekend. And producer Travis, heart of my conspiracy theory, just saying, I blame Trav.
Man, this was a good one. This was my favorite one. We've had some really awesome ones, but I gotta say, this one takes the cake. Hi, my favorite moment was, and I just think it was a particularly cinematic episode. My favorite moment is just this awkward silence between Judge Judy and Judge Reinhold in this elevator as it slowly goes up or down or whichever direction we were going, and it's just like long pause. And it's like not making eye contact with each other. Just like, I like your show, by the way. I never missed it. You know, it's a really lovely moment between the two of them. And I love this. I'm producer Trav. I produce WebDM, which you should watch because it's good for the soul. And look, I want to plug my Aliens game over on Lindy. We all know Love Lindy, star of every other game played on tabletop streaming. There's my daughter. Yes, my dear. 1 second. Aliens. Go watch the VOD of episode 5 and watch Greg, aka Grimjack512150, just be this incredible guest star and dump a page and a half of lore. Right, he just did this amazing job, and I'm really proud of it. And we play again on February 7th. And also tomorrow morning, I'm playing Teenagers from Outer Space from Artel Saurian Games with Lindy and Greg and Kiana and Emma. And it's Saturday morning cartoon fun. Don't miss it. I have to get up at 7:30 and play this game from 8 to 10, so I don't know why the hell I agreed to it, other than the fact that it's sublime. These people are amazing, and I can't wait for next week, and my heart will be broken in 2 weeks when this is over, but we've reached a fever pitch, and Virginia's a rock star. It's fucking sweet. My daughter's out of the room. It's fucking sweet. I'll see you next week.
And always a delight. Bunny, how you doing?
Hey, boo. I'm good. It was good to finally have Judy talking to Kane and the reveal of the nickname, which he hates, which means she loves to call him even more because he's small and he's good at jumping and he's very cute. So this is why he's called Bunny. I think one of my favorite scenes was the very awkward lift where we decided in chat that Reinhold had also asked for an autograph, and Judy, of course, has a golden Sharpie on her at all times to sign his lawgiver. And that end reveal was real good. And I'm glad we saved my son. Tetley is safe for now. But I can't wait to find out what happens next. Much like Charlie and Kat here, I'm going to have my tinfoil hat, I'm going to get my red string, going to get my Pepe Sylvia on this back wall. You'll see it everywhere. But yeah, I'm Susie, otherwise known as Susanna Grace. You can find me all over the internet at Susanna Grace. I'm a variety streamer who does video games, art streams, and tabletop RPGs. Next week, I will be on the Crownlands premiere. I will also be GMing Zweihander, which is our premiere next week. And I will be right back here on Dredd. So that's where I'll be.
See, this is what we get when we shoot things. The first season, the first few episodes, we did nothing but recruit people to our soup kitchen. Now we actually use our guns and explode things, and this is what happens. But always at the heart of a conspiracy, always bring in that golden game, Grease. I use this to beat my thing is a little lagging.
It's fine. Hi, I'm Zippy Zippo. I had fun today. There was a lot of fun things that happened during the show that I enjoyed, and you probably did as well. You can find me here on Twitch at the Zippy Zippo, where I do a bunch of stuff now that I am back in school.
Awesome. Please do go check out the Zippy Zippo. and all of that fun stuff. Big shout out to our GM of the day, the wonderful Tabletop Horde, aka Virginia. Virginia, before we round out with you, I would like to inform you that our poll is in and Fremont is judge of the day. And I would also like to ask you, how's our lore meter doing?
You can go ahead and drop that down by a good old 3 for each of those judges you killed.
Womp, womp, womp.
Yeah, so it turns out they might have been a bit legit. Yeah, I've been waiting all session to drop that. All session. And I'm so pleased. It's like, they're going to question this, right? They've got to question this. And you're all like, nope, shoot. And I was like, okay. Oh my gosh, so many favorite moments. I really love how Grease gets properly into Brando. Like, once the Brando hat is on, there is no, like, law enforcement Grease. It's just, I'm just going to shoot this guy and step on him and wait until he tells me something. And it's just like, goes up and just pulls out the lawgiver in the middle of the arcade. It was so, like, from the first campaign that we did. And I was like, I love it. I love how he just shows up in the arcade and he's like king to people. It's just like, we don't know what to make of this. There were some really great wild magic surges, which I love the fact that chat keeps giving us, because somehow it only just, I have ideas, I'm like, I'm going to do this thing, and then we get a wild magic surge, and I'm like, I'm going to do this thing using that. Just everyone was awesome. I don't think I've ever seen Susie look so frightened, and then in the moment the explosion went off, she looked like if anything bad had happened, she'd reach to the screen. But also, shout out to James, who gave us that crit fail for Tetley so he couldn't attack Fremont. He's going to be so mad about that when I tell him.
I had 2 hit points. I had 2 hit points left.
I mean, Tetley was going to attack you. And then I remembered there was a crit fail and was like, this is the moment.
Oh, James would be so salty.
Yeah, and luckily that explosion might have actually helped Tetley out a bit. We'll see next week, but I've been waiting all session to drop that on you. I thought you might question the judges, but no, it got even more beautiful than that. It was just, I'm really enjoying running this, and I hope you're all having fun, and I love the chaos that is happening in this. Just more and more trouble. But hopefully you're starting to get some tinfoil about what might actually be going on, especially after that phone call, Judy.
I think this is all a construct of Reinhold's mind. We are all just in this little version of hell with him. He's invented Shay. He's invented Freedom Falls. Henson. This whole thing, we are just in that third eye.
I don't know why you're blaming
Shay's in
Henson.
Tetley. It's Tetley. Shay's consciousness is in Tetley and his control.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh no.
How do you know that Tetley isn't Shay's boss? Just saying.
He's
Yeah,
the
like-
mastermind. Look,
Yeah.
if it is Tetley, I'm so proud of him. He's doing
Psychic
so
dog,
well.
like secretly a super psychic corgi.
You know what? I'm going to take this moment to remind everyone we have a Discord and we have a channel dedicated to Back on the Block, where we can discuss all of this tinfoil, come up with even more wild theories. And Virginia, why don't you tell us where we can find you on the internet when you're not here bringing the law?
When I'm not here pretending to be the law sometimes and actually being the law this week, you can find me over on my Twitch every other Monday for a follower voted stream, so you can vote on Twitter about what you want to see me stream. That vote will go out on the 24th for the Monday stream of the 27th, and then every single Wednesday you can find me on my Twitch, which is the same name, Tabletop Horde. I'm doing a run through of the classic Tomb Raider games. We're kind of semi the way through classic Tomb Raider 1 at the moment, which is great. If you want to see me come and kill Lara a lot, laugh about my inability to sometimes grab objects, and watch my chat name creatures that I then have to shoot at because they're enemies. We had Sir Chonks a lot this week, and Princess Chonkarina. They were alligators. Come and catch me there. And then you can also find me with Charlie and Susie in After the Fire, which I don't know when season 3 is happening, but you should watch out for that because it's awesome, and they're going to get their own back on me for totally betraying them.
And you know what? If people have stayed until this point, I think it's time we give them a little news drop, a little announcement just for you
Oh,
here in chat,
this is what I
and
think
just
it
for
is.
you over on YouTube who have lasted through our outros. February 7th, you want to be back on Encounter Roleplay on a Friday because we will be bringing you space, the final frontier. And the wonderful Virginia Tabletop Horde will be our GM for that game. V, is there anything you want to tell people that are hanging in and enjoying this news drop?
You should come. I love running Star Trek adventures with all of my heart. Not just because I work for the company that makes it, but I really do love the game. And you should come and join the voyages of the USS Initiative to see what kind of hijinks they get up to see how that crew forms its relationship, because boy, have I got a wild number of episodes in store for them. So you should come and see that. The cast is awesome.
Can you tell
and
us
I'm
what
super
era
excited.
it is? Are we in Classic? Are we in TNG, Voyager? Which era?
Despite the fact I know TOS better than any other era because I like running Ridiculous Trek, we are actually playing in TNG.
Ooh.
So not only do you get to see me attempt a TNG game when I've basically watched just most of the episodes where either Picard does something cool and is badass, or where what's his name jumps in, Q, when Q comes in. That's my knowledge of TNG. So based on that, it should be fun, and you should come and watch because Star Trek is hilarious and it's bound to be great. Charlie has put together an amazing cast. Can we also give a shout out to Charlie right now? Because Charlie's awesome, and we never get to thank her properly at the end of these shows when she sets it all up for us and puts it all together and makes everything work so you can all enjoy this.
Well, I can only therefore shout out our wonderful sponsors who enable us to keep the lights on here at Encounter Roleplay and do all these fun shows, which is including Modifius, who are sponsoring that wonderful Star Trek show, as well as Vampire the Masquerade on Tuesdays. Shout out to Zweithander, who do our Wednesdays. And of course, Tabletop Loot, Fantasy Grounds, and Wayland Games, who you should all check out very soon. Trying to think if I forgot anyone important, but major shout out, of course, to chat and to our patrons who support the cast and crew here as well, which is all of you. So if you're watching on YouTube, please hit that like button. Please consider the subscribe button. And thank you so much for being here live with us on Encounter Roleplay. If you're here on Twitch, it is overtime and past due. So let us bid you all a good night and just say, try not to roll too many nat ones because we want to be there laughing when you do. Please join us tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, for our Regency Scandal and Love Fest, encountering good society. Good night.